What is happening, Gothamites? Welcome back to the O1 channel, and tonight we are discussing in detail Titans Season 3, Episodes 6 and 7, Lady Vic and 51%. Now, I didn't have a chance to do these two videos separately because of how busy I've been over on my other channel, K-Wings Let's Plays. So we're going to do a 2-for-1, and this will contain spoilers about the entire 2 episodes, although I don't know how completely accurate this is going to be compared to my other reviews, because I did have like notes and stuff like that, so this is off the top of my head more or less. So we'll see how we do remembering 2 weeks of basically 2 weeks of Batman stuff. I mean Titans. I mean Batman. I mean, it's basically sort of Titans. Titans characters are in it, but more or less, I mean, it's a Batman story, isn't it? Doesn't it feel like that? Feels like the Robin show. Main villain is Red Hood, a Robin. The main hero is Nightwing, who used to be a Robin, who actually suits up as Robin again in flashbacks. So I mean, I don't know. It's just it's interesting. No, Zelda, you can't have that. You can't have that. Okay, cool. So anyway, let's kick things off. Please save all questions until the end of the discussion. What we're going to do is we're going to do things a little bit different. We're going to do the first review, Lady Vic, and then we're going to take a little break. I'll answer 10 questions before moving on to the next section. That way I get kind of a little breather and I'm not, like, you know, overwhelming myself with all this useless knowledge stuff. So, alright. First off, Lady Vic, the intro involves a lady with white hair, and she likes to play with sharp, pointy objects in the restaurant. And also, she is very annoyed by the couple in love that's sitting over at the, I guess you would say it's kind of like the bench or right by the bar area. Yeah, it's a bar area. So they're sitting at the bar area. They're two officers very much in love who have little to no money. They are Gotham patrolmen, I believe. And they're talking about, you know, when they can afford it, they're going to get married. But until then, they're just going to live together, and, you know, he promises to give her the world, blah, 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 blah. And the entire time, this lady with white hair is just kind of watching them. She looks annoyed, and she looks at her wedding ring that's on her finger. Obviously, she used to be married, and it did not end well. And, well, the lady in white follows the officers outside as they head to their squad car. And more or less, she kills them. She does something, I think, removes the starter from their car. The male officer needs to leave and go check and see what's going on. And then Lady Vic comes and kills both the girl and the guy because she hates love now. And then, of course, it shows that they are on the outskirts of Gotham. It says, Gotham, do not, you know, come here. And that's kind of how the Titans intro plays, more or less. At least that's what I remember. I didn't really like the scene at the beginning because I thought it was kind of like a little weird, but I mean, it sets up the point that she hates couples, and you know, it is what it is. So then the episode picks up back at Wayne Manor, where Blackfire, who was released in the previous episode, is getting a tour of Wayne Manor from Starfire. Very quick tour, you know. Everybody does whatever they want here, more or less. You know, we have chores, and we are a family, blah, blah, blah. And Blackfire, she doesn't want any of that. She sees Superboy, and she's like, oh, my manservant is here. I demand that he attends to me. And Connor's like, oh, I don't mind. I don't mind doing that kind of stuff. And Beast Boy's like, whoa, 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 hold on, Connor. That's not what she means by attend to her needs. And he's like, oh, it's like, yeah, getting into adult territory now. So, then Blackfire gets all defensive. She's like, well, I don't understand. Isn't that short green one yours? And Beast Boy's like, yeah, no. It's not how it works here. And Starfire has to explain that, you know, Earth is very different than Tamaran. They don't have slaves. They don't have all this other stuff. So Beast Boy and, of course, Connor are not their male attendants. But Connor, I don't know, he kind of, I see a fling starting between him and Blackfire. You know, they're both aliens and both, like, kind of like the black sheep of their family. So, I mean, Blackfire is more of a black sheep. She literally killed her family, tried to kill her sister. Then she killed her sister's boyfriend. So, I mean, she's all kinds of like bad news. And you know the saying how girls are attracted to guys that are, bad news, like, kind of like bad boys. Well, Connor has a thing for Blackfire, and she's all about them bad news. At least that's what I'm picking up when they have these little scenes together. And they have a lot of scenes together in this episode and then the next episode, 51%. So anyway, we get to the point where Blackfire demands someone draw her a bath, and then Titans are like, nah, we don't do that here. Besides, Alfred is dead. But they don't bring up Alfred. It's like everybody for themselves. You can pick whatever room you want, which, my gosh, if I was a Titan and they could tell me, hey, if you want, you can basically be getting any room you want in this house. Like, as long as it's not taken, that's your house, or that's your room, that's your bathroom, you're set. It'd be like, score. That'd be pretty cool. So, that doesn't seem like a bad thing, but Blackfire is so annoyed that she has to draw her own bath. Now, keep in mind, you think she would be more grateful because she's been in prison for who knows how long in this secret lab. So the fact that she's acting ungrateful and kind of like a spoiled brat and stuff like that when she was just released from prison, you think she'd be a little bit more, don't do that. Don't scratch your face. Be a little bit more nice to her sister for her sister allowing Blackfire a place to stay, and one that also has its own stuff all over the place. Okay, so anyway, that happens, and Starfire then tells everyone basically, sleep with one eye open because it's my sister. We can't really trust what she's going to do, right? So anyway, we then have a scene that takes place 6 years in the past where the bat signal lights up the night sky, and we see Robin answering a burglar alarm on some museum or something like that. So yes, the actor literally dresses up as Robin again, and the Robin suit still looks good. But anyway, he stops a pretty cat burglar inside, who originally we think is Selena Kyle, only for the big reveal to be Barbara Gordon. Da-da-dun. Hot take, Titans. Really hot take. So basically, she is stealing stuff because she's trying to get back at her dad, because her and her dad don't really get along. Also, she's trying to be a good Samaritan and help the museums and banks get better security, because it's their own fault that they have faulty security, hence why they wouldn't be robbed. It's like, okay, so Barbara is basically Catwoman in this. They couldn't use Catwoman, so they turned Barbara into Catwoman. And instead of the Batman-Catwoman romance, as, cat burglar and vigilante, now you have Vigilante Jr. and cat burglar-esque Barbara Gordon as the bad girl that Dick falls in love with. So it's kind of like a similar take. Connor is falling in love with bad girl Blackfire, and Dick Grayson was falling in love with bad girl Barbara Gordon, who everybody thinks is the goody two-shoes librarian of James Gordon, commissioner of the police. But no, secretly she's a cat burglar. But she's a cat burglar for good. And I'm just kind of like, okay, that's interesting. Afterwards, the couple, and they were a couple, head to a local restaurant where they have some dinner and chat about their exploits, or rather Barbara's exploits. And then she gives the nitty-gritty about why she steals. And Dick's like, hey, why don't you just, give up your life of crime and become Robin Girl? You could be my sidekick, wink. And she's like, if anything, I would be Batgirl. And he's like, well, I guess it's not a bad name, but why after him? So they have a cute moment. They're discussing what happened, what could happen with her becoming a vigilante, because she's got the moves. He fought her in the museum or whatever, wherever they were. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. The only thing I like about this show now is there's no blue tint anymore. So that makes it a little easier to follow about what's going on a little bit. So there was that. And, they have some cute moments. And afterwards, I'm pretty sure it goes back to... oh, wait, no. Hang on, I'm jumping around. Let me remember. So after the whole Robin Girl thing, they have a cute moment in the restaurant, and then they flash forward to them robbing more things together because she convinces him to be a bad boy, too, so that they can be together, because they just work together. They fit. They just make sense. So in a hotel somewhere, Dick suggests that the two of them give up their life of crime and return the stuff now because they've had their fun. And Babs is kind of like, can you help me put this on? And he puts this necklace on her, and he gets all entranced by her, and they have a makeout session, sexy bedtime sparring, and then in the present, Dick wakes up with a fever and that nasty gunshot wound in his shoulder with Barbara on his mind. Which this will be important later on, that he's thinking about Barbara so much because it leads into some other stuff later. But anyway, he goes in the Batcave, all bloody, and he freaks out Beast Boy and Starfire, who dresses his wound, and then she gives him a lecture. She then tells Dick that, I need to tell you about something, which she's trying to tell Dick about her sister, Blackfire, who's, upstairs and is a supervillain. And Dick is like, does that have anything to do with Red Hood and Scarecrow being on the loose right now? And she's like, well, no. And Grayson's like, okay, because I'm going to work now, bye. And she's like, you just got shot, Dick. And he shrugs it off. He's like, I've had worse. I do like how he handled that, though. Like, literally, the dude was 5 inches away from the bullet ending his life. Like, going through his heart or lung or whatever, that being it. But since the bullet went clean through, and they did a good job of dressing the wound and stuff, he's lost a little bit of blood, but he's like, I've had worse, so I gotta get back to work. I appreciate that. That reminds me of some of the Chuck Dixon Nightwing comics, and just like how Dick Grayson is. As long as he is able to keep fighting crime, no matter what, he keeps, going forward. So I appreciated that. It was a nice little nod to the Chuck Dixon run and some other stuff. So upstairs in the kitchen, Superboy is making dinner, and he and Blackfire have another moment, which leads me to believe that they are going to get together sometime this season, and then she's going to either turn him evil or she's going to become evil. One or the other. Well, I mean, she already is evil, but she could be using everybody. I don't know. But right now, she's becoming an honorary Titan, just like Terra was. And we all know what happened with Terra, right? Yeah, you guys know the Terra story. The Judas contract thing. So anyway, Blackfire and Connor having a moment inside of the kitchen area, and I believe they're making pizza, or it doesn't matter. Basically, Connor asks her to hand him a knife, and her way of handing a knife is to throw it at his face, and he catches it, and he's like, oh, nice throw. And Starfire walks in, and she's like, it's time to eat, and she has this not amused look. Elsewhere, across Gotham, Red Hood and Scarecrow are discussing their Fear Begone drug. Remember, I coined that term, Fear Begone. So the Fear Begone drug scheme, needless to say, they have different ideas. They get into a little tizzy, and Crane is not happy and asks Red Hood to come with him for a little while. So they have a little field trip. He takes them to a local hospital to watch a surgery in progress because he's weird like that. He says he used to come here with his egg salad sandwich and kind of watch people be put under the knife. He would enjoy it. It was very relaxing. They would play opera music and classical music, and the doctors would do their thing. Of course, not long after he's explaining this, Lady Vic walks into the surgery room and kills everybody with a samurai sword. And Red Hood just looks on kind of like, whoa. And then Crane puts his hand on his shoulder and he's like, by the way, you're nothing. You're totally expendable. I have people like her in my employs, so you're just a pawn to me anyway. So whether or not you think that you're important, you're not in the long run. He's like, good chat. He says, see you later. And Red Hood just kind of gulps and he's like, okay, I guess you're the boss then. But then Red Hood is kind of like, wait a second. You know what? I'm still not scared because I'm on Fear Begone. I'm going to do something dangerous and stupid because I'm Jason. Anyway, back at Wayne Manor again, Blackfire asks why Starfire is doing the dishes. And Star says, well, we all do the dishes here and the chores. That's what Titans do. We're a family. And Blackfire is surprised. She's like, no, we are queens, girl. We do not do the dishes. Chores are beneath us. Not long after this argument, which was kind of dumb, and it's just like so there can be Blackfire and Starfire moments, Dick walks in, and he's like, okay, why is she here? And Starfire's like, oh yeah, I was trying to tell you that important thing, but you were too busy. And Dick's like, okay, whatever. Anyway, listen, there was an attack that happened at Thomas and Martha Wayne Memorial Hospital, and we need to skedaddle and go check it out. So, at the hospital, Dick and Corey think they're going to get access to investigate the crime scene, but are blocked by GCPD from entering the scene of the crime. And Dick basically talks to the officer, and he's like, it's okay, I'm Dick Grayson, I know the commissioner. And the police officer's like, you're Dick Grayson? He's like, okay. He says, yeah, you're not allowed in. And he's like, under whose authorization? And he's like, because you're Dick Grayson. And the commissioner says, you're not allowed in here. And Corey's just like, oh, I am really angry. I thought her eyes were going to turn like green and her hair would turn red. But she takes Dick out of the area and has another lecture. So this is the Starfire lecture show, by the way. And no, Starfire and Dick are not getting together this season. The actor of Nightwing confirmed that his romance this season and possibly next is going to be the former Batgirl. Which makes sense because even in the comics right now, Oracle, Babs and Nightwing are together officially, which they have been off and on for a very long time, but it looks like they are official again, and they are official in DC Future State, so DC is making them official in this universe. Which makes sense. I mean, he had a near-death experience, and the girl that's on his mind right now is Barbara, not Starfire. Starfire is kind of a friend he slept with, and they didn't work out. And Starfire is getting over the fact that her sister killed her boyfriend in the last season. So, maybe Starfire and Grayson will get together again, but they might not. The show might even end with Nightwing deciding to stay in Gotham at the end of the season and get his own spin-off show or something. And, the Titans to do their own thing without Nightwing. Who knows what the future is going to hold. But all you need to know is that the show is pushing Barbara and Dick together, and both characters can feel the tension quite a bit. So Starfire, after a fun little lecture, which she'll do constantly throughout episode 6 and 7, she tells Dick, whatever's going on between you and Barbara, you need to fix this, because we can't work with one arm tied behind our back. So I appreciate that Starfire wants to work openly with the police, because that's not something Batman really did. And, Dick is trying to be a better Batman, all this other stuff. So, it makes sense. I can understand where she's coming from. So, yeah, she's right. Dick Grayson and Babs need to make up because the Vigilante and the police need to work together in order to get the bad guy. Because Jason and Crane are very dangerous. Very dangerous right now. So, back at the Gotham City Police Department to meet Commissioner Gordon, Dix walks into Babs' office and he says, hey, you gonna shoot me again? I'm kind of close enough. This is more your range. So he's making fun of her being short. And she asks if he was okay, and Dick says, yeah, I'm okay. And she's like, did it hurt, being shot? And Dick's like, yeah, a little. And she's like, good. And I'm just like, whoa, wait a second, that's taking it a bit too far. He could have almost died there, lady. But whatever, it's banter between the two couples, so okay. So after they, talk for a little bit and kind of make up and start working together to find Crane, Dick then messes up again by bringing up Oracle. And I just want to... Let's time out here. I know this is going to be spoilers for the next episode, but I said, spoilers in general. How they're talking about Oracle here, it's very different than what Oracle actually is. Oracle is a computer system that Barbara uses that is not sentient. In this show, it's a sentient computer that is kind of like Brother Eye. Like, Batman's Brother Eye program thing? Yeah. That's basically what Oracle is. And Oracle is, scary, which you'll meet in the next episode, but... yeah, that's why Barbara Gordon is terrified of Oracle, is because the Oracle system is essentially Brother Eye. Time back in. So they get into another fight, which happens a lot in this episode. Mostly because Babs is trying to hide her feelings from Dick, and Dick is not really coming to grips with his feelings because, well, he feels guilty for what happened to her during the Killing Joke, because he wasn't here for her. He was actually goofing off with the Titans when Barbara had her when Barbara had her leg cut off by the Joker. So, Barbara's actually not paralyzed. She's, she's literally mutilated. So, yeah, they went more extreme in this universe, which they are going to get into more details about Barbara's injury as the series goes on. But definitely Joker was playing Doctor with Barbara. Pretty nasty stuff. Anyway, so Barbara lost her leg, all that stuff. Dick wasn't here. She's had feelings for Dick for a long time, which they never really get into because he was with his other girlfriend, Dove, halfway across the world with the Titans in San Francisco, while Barbara was left behind to be Batgirl, and then the incident with the Joker happened, and, not long after that, her father was killed by Mr. Freeze, so she's had a lot of things, going against her right now. So Dick being back is causing all kinds of stirrings in her utility belt and her mind, and it's causing them to fight quite a bit, because Dick is an idiot. He doesn't know what's going on, and Barbara just doesn't really listen to her own feelings right now. So they fight, mostly. Also, she doesn't want to use Oracle because Oracle is bad. And she's very upset that Dick brought it up. So then he's like, okay. He says, we're not getting anywhere with this. What can I do to help? And she's like, you really want to help Dick? And he's like, of course. She's like, go home. And I was just like, dang. Okay. All right. Whatever. So basically CW drama, but better acting, more or less. That's the best way to, sum up that scene. Then we get a Batcomputer moment where Connor is essentially the Tim Drake role of this show. I know Tim Drake is in this show, but I don't think he's going to be as smart as Connor. Connor is like the smartest I've ever seen him. Like ever. So he's running the Batcomputer like no problems, and Starfire and him are looking up info about this killer who just, took out the doctors at the Wayne Memorial Hospital. Which is actually supposed to be the Thomas Elliot Memorial Hospital. The Wayne Memorial Hospital is not necessarily, it's a hospital, it's a clinic like in the bad parts of Gotham, like in the slums. So the Thomas and Martha Wayne Memorial stuff is not supposed to be like this grandiose hospital. It's supposed to be like small little satellite clinics that were created in the comic books after they died as a means to, help people less fortunate. But in this universe, it's basically the Elliott Hospital that you've seen in Arkham Knight and some other things. So it's a really well-known hospital, but it's named after the Waynes instead of, the Elliots. But we're moving on. That's useless trivia that doesn't really, do anything other than if you like my useless trivia about Batman stuff. There you go. So they're using the Batcomputer, and Blackfire suggests, hey, why don't we look for the rats, meaning the people on the street, for intel about what, Crane is up to, find out what the lower tier thugs have, and then we'll find Crane. And Starfire's like, that is a stupid idea, girl. You need to listen to me, even though you're the older sister. I'm the Titan here, and you're just my prisoner, whatever you are. And Blackfire's just like, sad face. My sister's being a real jerk, but it's like, I know that the writers are trying to manipulate you, the audience, into liking Blackfire by making Starfire a jerk. But Blackfire literally killed her mom and dad, killed her boyfriend, and murdered a bunch of Earthlings. So the fact that they're trying to do this bait and switch and make you think that Starfire is the narcissist and Starfire is the bad one, don't fall for that, because I guarantee you this season, Blackfire is going to do a lot of atrocities after Crane's out of the picture. This is all just like, the beginning. They're trying to get you to feel for Blackfire before she becomes full-blown evil. And she is evil. Literally, remember this. She murdered Starfire's parents out of jealousy, and she killed her boyfriend out of jealousy, and she killed a bunch of Earthlings because she's an alien, and she plans on invading Earth. Okay? She is a destroyer of worlds. She is not, woe is me, my feelings are hurt because Starfire yelled at me. Boo-hoo. No. Trust me. I'm never wrong about this, okay? She's going to be the big bad later. Trust me. Okay? She's using Starfire, just like she used Starfire in the original 2003 Titans show and in Teen Titans Go. It's a theme with Blackfire, and it's never any different, okay? All right, so there we go. Connor is kind of annoyed how Starfire is treating his future bae or whatever, girlfriend, whatever. And everybody basically all leaves to go and do Starfire's idea. But in reality, it's actually the Batcomputer, which is 90% the Batcomputer, that's able to figure out where Crane's associate is that may have whereabouts of the missing machine that Lady Vic stole from the Thomas and Martha Wayne Memorial Hospital, which I told you I was going to forget some parts. When Red Hood and him were watching the surgery, there was this experimental machine that was going to help the kid who was having surgery. And Crane stole it. So yeah, I like to jump around a little bit. I'm doing my best to remember all this. Like I said, it's not going to be 100%. So, yeah. I believe they go to either an abandoned building or like a lab or something next. Starfire and Blackfire have another fight. Again, trying to make Blackfire look like the victim when she is the bad guy. She basically tells Blackfire to stay in the car, and I don't want you anywhere near me, girl. So Starfire enters the abandoned building. Connor and Blackfire have a chat, so they have another moment, I guess you could say. We also learn a little bit more about Blackfire's history because they're trying to play the smallest violin to get the audience to be like, Blackfire is really the victim in all this, even though she murdered tons of people. She's really the one it's not her fault that she does bad things. Her feelings. You know, it's all about her feelings. It's like, no, feelings don't, erase bad acts, bad behaviors, criminal behaviors. Feelings are feelings, yeah, but I'm sorry, if somebody's a jerk to you, it doesn't give you the right to go into an office and blow them away. Boo-hoo for you. Go seek therapy. Don't hurt people. Because as soon as you hurt people, guess what? You're the bad guy. Doesn't matter if you had a school bully or whatever. As soon as you cross that line, you're no better than the school bully. In fact, you're worse because the bully didn't kill people. You did. So just remember that when people try to play mental gymnastics with you on Twitter. Okay? What you do matters. And if you do atrocities, you're the bad guy. No matter if you had your feelings hurt or not. So, and I could tell that these writers are trying to write like the Batwoman writers and the Flash writers a little bit because they're trying to make the villain not appear to be a villain at all. Even Crane, who's done a lot of freaky stuff, they try to give him sob story stuff too, and it's like, you're making a drug that takes people's fear away so they can kill a bunch of people. In fact, that's what happens in this episode, but that's besides the point. Okay, let's get back to the flirtiness and, whatever. Back inside of the lab, Starfire finds a lady with a bomb strapped to her because Jonathan Crane is such a nice guy. And Connor arrives and he's like, no one dies again because I'm going to use my cool building Lego skills to make a bomb disarm thingy. And this time it's going to work. Nobody dies again until the next episode when it doesn't work again. But whatever, this episode, nobody dies. And he does. He disables the bomb, saves the day. Yay! And then he runs away because labs scare him. Which, I mean, in Connor's defense, yeah, he was in a Cadmus lab. It makes sense that he doesn't like labs. So he goes in real quick, Wally West style, puts together the fuser, and then he runs away, and he waits for Starfire outside, and they chat. She then asks Connor what he would do with a, machine that Crane stole, and he's like, what do you mean? I'm not a bad guy. I'm a superhero. So they could be foreshadowing something here, too. The writers aren't that smart with these CW-esque superhero shows. They give you a lot of hints, like, early on, that you can tell how the plot's going to be. So the fact that Starfire is bringing up something that, I know you're not a bad guy, but you're part bad guy. This is probably going to lead to Connor becoming a bad guy later. And probably Blackfire is going to be able to pull this part of Lex out of him, and it's going to be her and Connor versus the Titans, like in a later season or something. Because, I mean, Connor is trying to ignore the fact that he's half Lex, but Starfire and some other people who he's close to keep bringing up the Lex part of him, which he wants to ignore, because Lex is a bad man, and Connor doesn't want anything to do with that bad man. So he's like, well, I guess if I'm thinking like Lex now, which I don't want to be because, that's a whole nother can of worms, what I would do is I would use the machine to multiply the chemicals so I can sell them on the street. And Starfire's like, that's probably what he needs to do. Good work, Connor. And he's like, yeah, but now I feel weird thinking like Lex. And she's like, oh, you'll be fine. Let's go. They head back to the car and they find out Blackfire's gone, and then Starfire pulls like an angry meme thing. She's not happy. In the Batcave, we have a fun moment with Beast Boy this episode. One of the only moments with Beast Boy, by the way. Gar helps Dick go behind Bab's back to gain access to the crime scene area by moving through the vents Arkham style. And Gar basically is like Alfred or Oracle over the line talking to Dick, and they're sharing about their feelings, and Gar opens up about something that he's been concerned about, which Gar has every right to ask this question, okay? Gar brings up that he's concerned about, why Dick left to, face Jason, and he's like, I just want to know, did you leave so you could go kill Jason? Is that why you left us behind? And Dick says, why is this important? He says, well, I'm no detective, but Batman went off on his own and killed the Joker. Then you went off on your own to take down Red Hood. And Dick says, I don't want to kill him. And Gar's like, look, I know Jason's done a lot of really bad things, but I honestly believe that Scarecrow is the one controlling this guy, and I have to believe that my friend is not all bad. I think Jason is being used, Dick. And Dick's like, well, what if he isn't being used? So Dick is trying to act like Batman a little bit, and Gar is basically his Robin. So the whole like Tim Drake role that Ryan was supposed to play, he's essentially playing it right now in this episode, which I loved it. I like the idea of Beast Boy and Nightwing kind of as like, you know, veteran superhero and sidekick. They work really well together. They're both really smart, and I like the dynamic between these two characters more than I like the force dynamic that they're trying to do between Connor and Gar. Like, it just feels more natural with Beast Boy and Nightwing in this series, because Beast Boy is not an idiot like he's usually portrayed, you know? Like, this fun-loving kind of whatever. He's this really cool martial artist that's a computer hacker and detective and, you know, master of martial arts. I probably already said that twice. Plus, he has the superpower of changing into animals. So, I mean, you know, he's essentially playing his version of Tim Drake with superpowers, if you really think about it. Most of the scenes we've had of Gar this season involve a lot of awesome stunts and martial arts, where he's fighting bad guys. Because, I mean, that's what the actor is known for. He's known for his stunts and his martial arts prowess and stuff like that. So, that was kind of cool. So, yeah, Dick basically tells him, no, I don't want to kill him, but I don't think we can trust that this is the same Jason. And then he's like, by the way, where am I right now? Am I over the drop point? And Gar's like, oh, yeah. You know, he says, by the way, this is kind of wrong that they're doing this behind Barbara's back. Aren't you two, like, a thing? And Dick's like, she'll get over it. I really need this crime scene intel that she's blocking from me, so I'm just going to go behind her back. What could possibly go wrong? So he goes in, and he's going to basically capture the sound that the cameras took, and then he's going to do this amazing scene later on in the episode that is so Batman, but we'll talk about that later. Inside the GCPD, Barbara has no idea that Dick has broken into the crime scene area and taken what he needs, and she's just kind of moping around because she feels bad for fighting with Dick. And then her number 2 comes in, which I don't know her name. She's the lady who's appeared like throughout the season. She has short, wavy hair, little portly, probably some type of lieutenant. I don't know if she was given her name or not. She might be Renee Montoya. I don't know. I just call her number 2 for now. She's basically like Riker, you know, if Riker was a woman with curly hair and, you know, was a little portly. But basically, she's Barbara's number 2. She's like, look, the media is jumping down our throat. We need to give them a statement about what's going on. And Barbara's just like, yeah. And she's just like, all right, well, I guess no comment then. And she leaves, and Barbara's like, what to do? And all of a sudden, she gets a special call from Batman. And Barbara's like, what? Why is Bruce trying to get a hold of me, Nani? And she leaves for Crime Alley to speak with Bruce, because she literally talks to Bruce on the bat phone. And the bat phone is red, which is a nice little Easter egg to the 60s show. So I like that. I thought that was kind of cool. Across town, back at Crane's secret base, Red Hood disobeys the Scarecrow and steals the Fear Begone at gunpoint to Crane's, you know, worker henchman guys. And he's like, I'm the guy in charge because I got the gun to your head. Crane's not here. I'll ice you. Or, you know, he says something stupid. More or less. Basically, Red Hood says he's calling the shot, and he has his own plans. So even though he was told earlier that he's expendable, Jason, even as a bad guy, is such a hothead he doesn't listen, nor does he understand when he's in danger. And that's why he always got killed in the 80s, is because he was kind of an idiot. Impulsive, reckless, dumb. So he's repeating the same mistakes here, which I didn't like, because I was like, wait a second. Red Hood's supposed to be smart, and he's not supposed to be somebody's errand boy. Red Hood is supposed to be like his own type of, you know, boss. So I don't like the direction that they're going with Red Hood anymore. Red Hood now just feels like Ubu, Ra's al Ghul's number 2 guy that's completely expendable and not all that important in the main story. So Red Hood had some significance in the show, but now it's all about Crane. Crane is the mastermind behind everything, and I feel like they handled that poorly. I don't like what they did with that. Like, if I'm being honest, it's just kind of like, yeah, okay, that's a little weird. So Crane is basically the one holding Red Hood's leash. He tells him what to do, and Jason is not independent. Jason is not smart enough. He's just basically a guy who is angry at Batman and stamping his feet and acting like a child, and Scarecrow is using him more than Batman ever did. And it's funny that Jason can't even see this. You could say maybe the Fear Begone is messing with his mind, but even before then, when he went and he betrayed Batman and Nightwing. Yeah, it's a little weird. So anyway, back in the Batcave, Dick shows how awesome the Detective Batman really was, and says, "Alright, I need you to hang out with me, Gar, because I'm going to show you something me and Bruce used to always do. Well, not always, but if we didn't have access to video surveillance." And he sits like all Japanese-like on the floor, closes his eyes, and plays the sounds back, and has this amazing scene where all these different like speakers are in a circle around him. And judging from the different sounds that Dick hears, he's able to pinpoint where the person was struck, what type of martial arts style was used with swinging the samurai sword, what type of sword was used based on the sound the sword made. And what was really cool, he was like, "Okay, Gar, I need you to go grab that katana over there." And Gar's like, "Okay." And he says, I can't remember the term he uses, but he says, "A specific stance and a specific thrust of the sword. I need you to do that now." And he's like, "Okay, that's not the same sound. Now, do that sound again, but I want you to be kneeling a little bit, and then instead of doing a thrust, I want you to like turn the sword like you're doing a roundhouse or something like that. So it's like a forward sweep, and swing it as hard as you can." And Gar's like, "Won't I hit you?" He's like, "No, you're on the other side of the room. It's going to be fine." He says, I need to hear that sound." So then he hears that sound exactly how Beast Boy does it, and he's like, "Okay." He says, "I know what type of sword is being used. Back computers, search for this type of sword." And he's like, "Okay, next, I'm going to need you to crouch down here and turn around and do a strike toward the person's elbow, because the person who was hit here was like 6 foot something." And he's like, "Okay, well, that tells me about the height of what the woman was." And he's like, "All right." And he says, "Also, I need you to walk over toward what was considered the door and thrust the sword down like you're going to finish someone off." And he's like, "All right." So this woman has a vendetta. She is about, I forget what height he said. This is the type of sword she uses. This is the style she uses. And Gar is just like, "Holy cow." He says, "You and Batman do have superpowers." And Dick's like, "Yeah, maybe." And he's like, "But the important thing is I know who this is now." And then we have a flashback sequence to 6 years ago with Dick and Babs stealing stuff again for fun. And Batman then urgently calls Robin, and Babs is like, "You don't have to go, do you? We're in the middle of something." And Robin is like, "You don't understand. When he calls like this is something really important. I have to go." And she's like, "Well, I can give you a reason not to." Then she slams him up against the wall and makes out with him. And Dick is like, "Okay, that's a good reason." So then they continue their jewel theft, and they run into 2 other thieves. And another couple, in a sense, too. So the other couple is Lady Vic and her husband. There's a big fight that happens. Barbara gets injured when her leg gets slashed. And then Lady Vic accidentally kills her husband while she throws a knife at Dick, and Dick dodges, and, well, Lady Vic is now single. Dick and Barbara leave because he sees that she's injured, and Dick tells Barbara, "Never do this again. You need to be done with this." And, of course, she does something more dangerous and becomes a vigilante, but they don't show that. In fact, I don't even know if they legally can show Batgirl in this show. That's probably why they needed to make her Catwoman, essentially, is because I don't know if they have the rights to use Batgirl or not. They probably don't. So they leave, and Lady Vic takes the wedding ring off her husband and swears revenge against Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon, because I don't know how she knew, but she learns that Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon was the other couple that night, and she wants revenge, but only revenge when they're back together, because she has all this time actually to kill Barbara Gordon and Dick Grayson separately, but she never bothers them until they start, like, getting awkward around each other, like they like each other again. So that's an interesting little plot hole, isn't it? So anyway, back in the present, Barbara is going to meet Batman because she's like, "Bruce has a lot to answer for. He killed the Joker, he ran away. It's kind of my fault he killed the Joker. I want to apologize." And Dick tries to call her on the phone to warn her about, "I know it's Lady Vic, Barbara, you're walking into a trap." And it's a trap that Lady Vic has set up in Crime Alley that I believe it's a motion-sensed bomb. So Barbara's supposed to follow Bruce Wayne's voice, and as soon as she moves forward to where Bruce is standing, or where Bruce is supposed to be, where his voice is coming from, I believe she would have set off a tripwire and blown herself up. But Barbara is too smart, and she notices something, and then Lady Vic shows up, and they have this awesome fight. In fact, the MCU and the DC Universe have never done a fight sequence like this because it's wheelchair person versus, able walking person or whatever. And it's a very well choreographed fight. It's awesome. Also reminds me of the sequence from Convergence where Barbara Gordon has to fend for her life against, I believe, Hawkgirl, an evil version of Hawkgirl, while Dick fights an evil version of Hawkman. It's an awesome fight. And of course, Barbara wins. She also uses charisma sticks, similar to what Nightwing uses, except hers don't have electricity right now. But she was able to disarm Lady Vic, and it looked like she defeated her, but Lady Vic took a picture of her face, and then she exited, and you're kind of like, well, why did Lady Vic take a picture of Barbara's face? That's weird. Starfire and Connor back at the Wayne Manor are looking for Blackfire, who's still MIA. And it turns out that Blackfire has returned to Wayne Manor with details about Crane, and she wants to be a Titan. She wanted to prove herself because Starfire said every single one of them proved themselves, and Blackfire was, well, I don't want to be left out, so I'm going to prove myself too. I'm going to find out and talk to the people on the street about what Crane is up to, and sure enough, that's how she was able to uncover where Crane is and all this other stuff. And she becomes an honorary Titan. Connor is impressed, and Starfire is still mad, though, because that's the theme of this episode. Dick then finds Barbara and takes her home. He checks out her apartment because he's super paranoid, and he asks her if she can stay, and she's like, why? Do you want to stay? Which is something he probably should have said yes, because they're both like trying to deny their feelings for one another. He then has flashbacks of more of their romance, which it would have been nice to have flashbacks before the Killing Joke thing. They didn't even have to show her as Batgirl. They could have talked about her exploits as Batgirl and why he left and ended up with Dove, but they don't do any of that. In fact, Dove isn't even a part of this, like, at all. Which is weird, because basically Dove was the Batgirl role from Season 1, if you think about it. With no mention of ever dating Barbara, by the way. So, but everything could have changed because of Crisis on Infinite Earths, so, I mean, it is what it is. So anyway, he's checking out her apartment. He wants to stay, but he doesn't. They have this weird will they, won't they awkward moment. And then he goes home and tells her to lock her door. And she's like, it was probably a one-off thing anyway. And then afterwards, when he leaves, she's like, I really didn't want him to go. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you two, get a room. Actually, you had a room, but you know what I mean. The episode then goes to Lady Vic reporting to Scarecrow that she failed and Barbara's alive. And he's like, well, did you get a picture of Barbara? And she's like, yeah, I don't know why you would need this. And he's like, oh, he says, that'll be explained in due time. And you have no idea why he took the picture of her until the next episode. But, yeah. Red Hood has left the building, and he's out on his own selling Fear Begone to just thugs on the street to get them, hooked on this new drug. And a lot of bad stuff happens because of that. Namely, one of the Fear Begone thugs walks into Tim Drake's Chinese restaurant and either kills or injures badly his mom and dad. Maybe his cousin, too. I don't know. What's interesting is this is a totally different take on Tim Drake's origin of becoming Robin. And the big twist is now that a Robin is responsible for another Robin's origin. Because Jason, as Red Hood, was the one peddling drugs, and the drug was responsible for harming Tim Drake's family, and Jason Todd is the one that did it. And then the episode just ends abruptly. And then people are like, whoa, what's going on with that? That's crazy. So that happened. I mean, I guess it's a new take on the origin, but it's a little weird. Mr. K-Wing could write a better show than this. In my sleep, I could write a better show than this. This show sounds like bad fan fiction. It's better than Batwoman, but not by much. Alright, you guys have any questions before I move on to the episode 51%? Which I'm a little hazy on. Oh yeah, I forgot Blackfire's terrible... No! Blackfire's terrible excuse for killing her parents is in the next episode. I didn't forget it. I was on... we just did the entire recap of the Lady Vic episode. I'm pretty sure 51% is where we learn about why Blackfire killed her mom and dad. I'm pretty sure. So, what would you give Titans out of 10 this year? So Lady Vic is now a Batgirl villain? Yeah. Yeah. Batgirl and Robin. Lady Vic never messed with Batman. And she only messed with Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon when she saw that those two were getting closer together. Which apparently is a deleted scene that they cut out of this season. The reason why Lady Vic is even going after Barbara Gordon and Batgirl, or rather Oracle, is because supposedly she saw them being all chummy in like episode 2 or 3, where Nightwing and the Titans were going into the bank. So that's the whole reason she's even back in Gotham and wants to work with Crane and stuff like that. Batwoman is ending next year. It got renewed for a 3rd season because of reasons. Are you skeptical about how Red Hood will be redeemed? He's going to be redeemed, and then he's going to go off on his own to get his solo show with Molly, because they are going to give Red Hood his own show. It's already been confirmed pretty much. You're going to find out at DC Fandom event. But yeah, he's going to be redeemed. He's not really a villain. What they're going to do, I can tell you right now. They're going to blame everything on Scarecrow. Jason or Nightwing will probably kill Scarecrow, or Starfire. Someone's going to kill Scarecrow. He's going to die. They're going to blame everything on him. Tim Drake and Red Hood are going to come to blows, probably. But Tim Drake's going to forgive him because he'll be like, you know what? It wasn't your fault, man. You were just the guy punching tickets. You weren't the one writing out the orders. It was all that guy. And, you know, me and you can be best friends even though my parents were killed because of your actions. I just totally see that happening. Red Hood is not a competent character. He's a cool character until you realize that Crane is the one pulling all the strings. And then it feels like it's kind of like an escape for Red Hood. Like, it's a end-all, blame-all situation. Like, Scarecrow's responsible, Red Hood is blameless. I think that's stupid, because Red Hood is a very good villain. He doesn't need to be like the Ubu, the number 2 guy. He can handle things on his own, right? So, I mean, that's dumb. But, like I said, it is what it is. Nightwing leaving for Bloodhaven with Oracle would be amazing. Yeah, it would. I think, I have a feeling that this is going to be the last season with Nightwing. I think he's going to become Batman. I think that he's going to be Nightwing as Batman. He's going to stay in Gotham because they've already said that the Titan show does not take place all in Gotham this season. And I haven't really heard much about Nightwing's role in the rest of the season other than just like really big Gotham arcs. Tim Drake and Oracle are supposed to have big roles in the show, but that might only be in the Gotham area. I don't know. Raven and Donna Troy are coming back before the end of the season. And Blackfire is going to become the villain. So I don't really see Dick Grayson getting killed like I thought he was going to now. I think that he and Red Hood and Oracle and a lot of these other Bat characters are going to probably show up in the Red Hood show, more or less. That's my thinking, but I could be wrong. Nightwing could stay on. But, I mean, if they're trying to give the character a graceful exit, this season would be the one to do it because we're already seeing that he can be Batman. In fact, he can be a better Batman right now. I mean, there's the whole mess that Batman killed the Joker and he's wanted by the police, but I have a feeling that, Gotham will just forgive and forget after all the craziness Crane did, because my theory is because of all the bad stuff that Crane did, this is how I would write it. This is what a good writer would do. Based on all the chaos that's happened because of the Fear Be Gone, people being killed and terrorized on the street, and criminals not afraid anymore, Gotham City would realize that Batman needs to exist or Gotham can't survive. Because without Batman, the city just falls apart because the criminals have no checks and balances. They're not afraid of the police. They're not afraid of Nightwing. They're not afraid of Robin. They pretty much see Gotham as open season. But if Batman's around, that prevents them from doing what they're going to do because there's always someone around who's going to stop them. They can scheme, they can plan, but at the end of the day, Batman is going to be the one to bring them down. That's how I would do the show. I would do the show as, even though Nightwing is hesitant and Batman is gone, I would have Dick Grayson become Batman. I would have him marry Barbara, and leave the show as Batman and come back as a guest star once in a while. You know? And I would have Tim Drake become his Robin. Personally. That's what I would do. How did Blackfire kill her boyfriend? Star's boyfriend? She melted him. She used her powers. Blackfire has powers. But we're jumping ahead. Anyway, that's what I would do. Because, I mean, all this bad stuff didn't happen when Batman was around. As soon as Batman was gone, Scarecrow basically turned Gotham on its head. So, I mean, the citizens are going to realize they need Batman. And I don't think Nightwing is going to be that person that can really do it. I mean, he's proving that he can be Batman. In this episode, the next episode, the episode before that. He's a very confident character. Very skilled. Very good at what he does. So. Any other questions for this episode? Before we move on to 51%? Have Tim train with Dick and then go lead the Titans. It's too early for Tim to lead the Titans. If anybody would be the leader of the Titans after Nightwing left, it would be Starfire. Dove is gone. Dove would be the leader. Dove's not there. Beast Boy could be the leader, but he's too young. So Starfire is the only other adult on the team right now. So she would be the leader. And then the secondary leader would probably be Gar. And Tim Drake would essentially... I don't see Tim Drake becoming a leader. Even though he has leadership qualities, I don't think he's going to be a leader in the show. He's going to be a follower. I think Tim's going to become a part of the Titans. Maybe Dick will send Tim Drake to work with the Titans so he can get training and learn how to do the job. That would be pretty cool. And then, you know, Tim would eventually leave the team and go back to work with Dick Grayson and, you know, Batman and Robin. They could do it that way. It'd be interesting, but I don't know what they're going to do. That's what I would do. Make the most sense. Yeah, Donna's coming back, but Donna's dead right now. Donna would probably be the leader of the Titans, though, because she's a founding member. Usually how it goes with leadership on these teams, these superhero teams, if there's a founding member on the team, when there's a bunch of new people, the founding member becomes the leader. It's just how it works. That's how Batman was leader of the Justice League. That's how Robin was the leader of the Teen Titans. And then Arsenal and sometimes Wally, Donna. You know, founding members of the team are usually the leaders. Until they die. Donna was the leader of the Titans till she died. And then the Titans broke up. And Young Justice broke up. Although technically Dick was kind of in charge of the Titans when Donna was still alive. I don't remember. But he was, you know, doing his own stuff in Gotham for the most part. He was kind of written out of the Titans books. And then he came back to do the Outsiders or something like that. Just wanted to show my support. Thank you, Tezzy202. Appreciate it. They really assassinate Batman this season, didn't they? They character assassinated him, yeah. Why is everyone a psychopath on the show? Because it's R-rated. I mean, Josh, maybe they could show Damian. Like, where is Bruce right now? He could be, you know, hanging out with Talia in Egypt. Who knows? Do you think they'll add Damian? I don't know. Maybe. All right, we've done enough with that. Let's get on to 51% now. Now, apologies. This I did a refresher course on the first episode that we did a review of tonight, so I had better notes of that. Episode 7, 51%. I don't have the best notes on, so please forgive me. I'm going to do the best I can. I only watched the episode once, so. But anyway, the episode, I believe it starts after Dick Grayson is woken up again, and he gets a call from Barbara about a mass shooting or mass killings in Gotham late last night. That's the work of Red Hood and Scarecrow, and they think it was because of a new drug. Red Hood then triumphantly returns to the Scarecrow, and Jonathan Crane is like, wow, you had a busy night last night. And Red Hood's like, yeah, I was just, proving that your drug works, showing how cool I am as your henchman. And Crane's like, oh, okay, that's great. And Jason's like, yeah, anyway, Is this the new batch? And he's like, oh, I think you'll really like that. And immediately I was thinking, Jason, do not use that inhaler. He spiked the inhaler. And Jason's like, I need my fix, man. And Crane's like, yeah, why don't you have your medicine and then we'll continue to talk. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, the more that Crane is telling Jason to use this thing, he's going to kill Jason again. And Jason, being the idiot he is, takes a whiff of the inhaler and he's like, hey man, this batch tastes different. What did you do to me, man? And then he passes out and then Crane's like, I told you I'm nothing like Batman. I'm worse. So I was just like, okay. Yeah, Crane's mad. That's a pretty clear indication, that things did not work out quite the way Jason had envisioned. Now, Jason, unbeknownst to Crane at the time being, was calling for a meetup with the mob, who he owns, or rather Crane owns, and the mob is not happy with things that have transpired so far. In fact, the whole Fear Be Gone incident has actually damaged some of the mob's reputation, along with one of the mobsters' faces, who has staples all over it. So we're going to call him Staple Man, because he has staples in his face. I don't know, I mean, it's a good mobster name. Staples. Would you be afraid of a guy with staples all over his face? I would. Be like, whoa, I don't want any of that. I don't want no trouble, Staple Man. So anyway, the mob bosses call to meet up with Red Hood to complain about the deal going sour and them not happy, and, even though Batman's gone, they're not really running the city, blah, 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 blah. Scarecrow then reveals himself as the guy in charge, and everybody loses their mind, because he's like, oh, don't worry. If I wanted to use my fear gas on you, you'd be ripping your flesh off as we speak. I'm not mad at you. I'm here to give a peace offering and tell you that everything's going to be okay. And yes, I am the one behind Red Hood's leash. And Red Hood can't hurt you because, well, he's indisposed at the moment. But if you disobey me, then I'll send him loose on you like the rabid dog he is. And I'm just thinking, wow, Crane, you're not a nice guy at all. Which, I mean, yeah, Crane's not a nice guy, so. He's very serial killer-esque in this show. Unlike Red Hood's interaction with the mob, no mobsters die right now. And they agree to Crane's plan. They're like, yeah, that's a good plan. I mean, they're more scared of Scarecrow than they are Red Hood. And I'm just like, but Red Hood literally shot you guys. But, I mean, I guess fear gas and living your worst fears. And since Crane's already done that to them in the past, they definitely don't want to mess with Gotham royalty in a sense, which is the Scarecrow. Which the Scarecrow has never been Gotham royalty. He's just this crazy guy in a mask that has appeared in a handful of Batman books the past 80 years. He's not that big of a threat compared to all the other Batman rogues. He's used sparingly in comics because, I mean, his stick is he scares people. The only interesting thing they've done with the character off and on in the past, 30 years is the whole Fear Be Gone thing, which they then adapted in an episode of Batman the Animated Series. And, of course, later this Titan show. And that's pretty much all Scarecrow ever does. He either makes stuff that makes people afraid, or he has stuff that takes people's fear away from them. He's not your typical Batman villain that is going to appear more often than the caper really revolves around. To my knowledge, he appeared a couple times in the 1970s, a few times in the 80s. He had a very big role in Tim Drake's origin. And he appeared sparingly in the 90s and the 2000s, things like that. So, I mean, he's not really Gotham royalty, one of the big Batman baddies. He's usually locked up in Blackgate. He doesn't even go to Arkham Asylum very much. So it was interesting to see him in Arkham. Usually he goes to Blackgate because he's not really insane. He's kind of narcissistic and manipulative, but he's not insane, more or less. Until he has his fear gas turned on him, and then he becomes insane and he lives in Arkham, which they actually explain in the comic books at one point. He was a very smart professor that knew what was going on, and then Batman gave him a dose of his fear toxin, just like in Batman Begins, and it made Crane go bye-bye. And Crane becomes Scarecrow, essentially. So, as far as we know, that hasn't happened in this universe yet. Although it could. Or the Fear Be Gone stuff could kill Scarecrow. I think that either the Fear Be Gone or Scarecrow's fear gas is going to be the thing responsible for killing the Scarecrow. And it'll either be Nightwing, Red Hood, or maybe even Blackfire that kills him. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But I don't think he's going to survive. Because most of these Titan characters, they don't survive. I can't remember her name, but there is a lady with white hair that's not Lady Vic, who Scarecrow talks by name. I think it's Velazquez or something. And assures her that everything's going to be fine. And everybody just needs to be patient or else. And they're like, okay, I guess that's how things are going to go. Red Hood is chaos by design, basically. And it's all part of the plan. So, back in the Batcave, the different characters meet up again. And they're all looking for where this machine is that Scarecrow has taken. And unlike the fun little word games that Red Hood played, which made it appear that he was the one in charge with those. Remember those really cool clues that he gave the Titans in the first couple episodes about the birds and stuff like that, where they needed to go, things like that. Yeah, well, Scarecrow, he doesn't really do that anymore. So the Titans are basically on the hunt to find where Scarecrow's hidden base is so they can stop him from manufacturing this drug, because they believe they only have a few days before this stuff hits the street, based after what Red Hood carelessly did the night before, which essentially gives the Titans heads up that, hey, wait a second, something really bad is going to happen with this drug. We need to find Crane and shut him down like yesterday. So they have this war meeting in the Batcave, and Dick and Corey and all these other people plan on trying to find Scarecrow, and they break up into teams. If I'm not mistaken, Connor and Dick Grayson are one team, and Blackfire, Starfire, and Beast Boy are the other team, tracking down stuff. So, I don't really remember how it happens. I think Connor is able to look up something, but then Dick Grayson goes and basically tells Barbara, look, our only hope is Oracle, because if we don't do something right now, Scarecrow is going to destroy Gotham. And Barbara's like, no, I don't want to use Oracle. You know what that thing is. If we don't use it, people are going to die, Babs. And she's like, well, I know that, but I promised myself I wouldn't because of that thing that happened. And that thing that happened, they never tell you what that thing was that happened. They're just hinting at it. Maybe they'll get into it. Maybe they won't. I'm leaning towards they're not really going to tell you what that thing was that Barbara's so freaked out about. But maybe Oracle is the reason that she lost her leg to the Joker. But anyway, Dix twists her arm, and they go to the secret location of where Oracle is. And then, under duress, Barbara, using her eyes, is able to reactivate Oracle. And Oracle is sentient. Oracle is essentially Brother Eye. In fact, looking at Oracle, from what I remember, is it has an eye in the middle. It's not like that weird like Oracle avatar thing that that the weird face mask thing that the computerized version of Oracle's avatar was. This is essentially a living eye, and it knows everything. So when the Oracle is activated, not only does he know that Barbara Gordon is there, and he's like, hello, Barbara, how are you? And she's like, hi, Oracle. And then he's like, I sense you have company. So Dick doesn't even say anything, and then Dick is like, hello, Oracle. And the machine is like, oh, hello, Dick. My condolences about Jason Todd and also Hank Hall. So even though the machine was sleeping, it knew about the death of Jason Todd and a Titan. And if that doesn't freak anybody out in the room, I'm just kind of like, whoa, that's like freaky stuff. The computer has been in safe mode or sleep mode, and it knows everything that's going on in Gotham. Even knows Batman's not around anymore. I mean, is it really wise to reactivate this Oracle thing, Dick? I don't think so. I think this is a bad move on your part, buddy. So, basically, Dick wants to use Oracle to, find where Scarecrow's base is. And Oracle's like, is that your wish, Mr. Grayson? And he's like, yep, I want you to find where Jonathan Crane is. Do a commence search for him. And Oracle, like, closes its eye a little bit, and then it does... well, we weren't able to find any public communications. And Dick is like, all right, let's get all Batman Dark Knight on this, Christian Bale. I want you to do a search for all private communications of Jonathan Crane. And then you start hearing all these different voices as both Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon are sitting there listening to everybody's private calls until Oracle is able to actually get a trace on Scarecrow. So it's a whole cell phone thing that basically Lucius Fox set up in The Dark Knight, which he said was unethical and whatever, and Batman used to find the Joker through his cell phone. So Dick Grayson does the same thing again, and he tells Barbara, I'm going to go find where this guy is. Connor, you come meet with me. I know where Scarecrow is. And Barbara, you hang out with Oracle. And Oracle's like, by the way, Barbara, would you like to share your thoughts? And she's like, about what? He's like, I noticed that your heartbeat is actually beating very quickly when you were next to Mr. Grayson. And she's like, no, it isn't. He says, actually, you're lying because I can tell that you are very nervous about him being around right now. Is there something going on? Are you two? And she's like, I'm going to stop you right there. And she says, it's creepy. At least I think she said it was creepy. And she's like, no, I don't feel comfortable. Command sleep. And then she puts Oracle to sleep. And I was like, wow, Oracle. I mean, Barbara. So, I mean, I don't like that they made Oracle like a sentient machine. I think that's kind of dumb. So, anyway, back in Scarecrow's base, Red Hood wakes up strapped to a chair, and Crane basically tells him his evil plan, and he's like, Jason, you're such an idiot. And you were reckless and dumb, and now you're going to pay for it. So I'm going to teach you stuff about all the fear stuff. And Jason is like, why did you betray me, man? He's like, be quiet. I failed you as a teacher, Jason, but I'm going to teach you an important lesson today before I kill you. I'm going to teach you how I broke Batman, because reasons. He says, Batman used fear, but it was patience that beat Batman. I was very patient. And some like, you running around, Jason, isn't going to destroy the Titans. But if you just sit back and watch, the Titans will destroy themselves. And I was watching this, I was just like, what is he talking about? The Titans are just going to destroy themselves. And I was just thinking, you know what? I think that Blackfire is a mole. I think Blackfire is Terra. But how would Scarecrow know about Blackfire? He wouldn't. So then you're like, yeah, probably she's not the mole then. He's just counting on turning one of their own against him. Turning Robin into Red Hood is going to cause the Titans to betray one another. One thing that I find interesting, in the next scene, we have Starfire and Blackfire are hanging out. And, Blackfire's basically become an honorary Titan, so think Terra again. And they're sitting in the car, and Blackfire's like, so, when is Mr. Grayson going to show up to this base with us to take on these mobsters? And Starfire's like, yeah, Grayson's not going to show up because he has a rule that he doesn't work with mobsters. Like, he won't break that rule. So this show basically goes and changes, like, you know how Batman has a no-killing rule? Well, not anymore. Nightwing's role is, in this show, is he won't work with organized mob because the mob killed his family. So he will never, ever, ever work with the mob because that would be breaking his rule and doing a disservice to his family. He never said he wouldn't use a gun because you've seen him use a gun as a police officer in this show. But he will never get his hands dirty with the mob. That's a big taboo. So the fact that Starfire is here asking Velazquez, I think is her name, for help, just shows how, Starfire doesn't really abide by Dick's rules. Because Dick does not like mobsters. At all. So anyway, if I remember correctly, Starfire and Blackfire go to visit this mob lady. And the mob lady, in order to work with them, she demands an equal trade. She is worried about her son, who has left the family because the mother is evil. Which makes sense. I mean, would you want to be around an abusive family member that had mob connections? You'd probably be worried you get killed, right? So Sonny Boy has that same mindset. He doesn't want to, mess with that. So in order for Starfire to get the intel that she needs from this mob lady, because the mob lady is like, you know what? I see that Crane is in big trouble and I want out. I don't want this to jeopardize my future as a mobster. And she's like, yeah, I will totally work with you. But before all that, I do have a note here. We get into the 51%, which is the name of the episode. And this is the dumbest stuff ever. So Blackfire basically starts talking to Starfire about, like, you know how Father used to say 50% blah, blah, blah meant blah, blah, blah? Like, you were either 50% good or you were 51% bad. And it's like, but that doesn't add up because 51% plus 51% is 100. It's not 100% evenly. But whatever. So Starfire's like, yeah. And she's like, well, what I did killing mom and dad was either 51% bad or 51% good. And Starfire's like, what? And she goes on to explain this really convoluted, stupid story about, like, how in order for her family to stay in power and for them not to lose because of, like, the riots and all this other stuff happening in Tamaran because Starfire wasn't there, Blackfire would need to kill her family in order to seize the throne and blah, blah, blah. I think she's lying, but that's how she explains it to Starfire, and Starfire's like, wow, you really did have it hard. So it's like they do a complete 180, and I'm just like, oh, this is dumb. So yeah, they justify why Blackfire killed her parents, or at least this story. Now, it could be later on it's revealed that Blackfire is doing, like, this whole, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Multiple choice, like, origin. You know, that she's not really all that bad, or maybe it happened this way, maybe it happened that way. I don't know. She could be manipulating her sister. She could be telling the truth. I didn't really care for this scene. I thought it was dumb. So, it is what it is. But Starfire still reprimands her sister for killing her family, essentially. So, yeah. Anyway, after that fun family talk about her family being killed and all that fun stuff is when they actually met with the mob lady. And then it goes to a fun scene where Oracle is alive and talking to Barbara again. Barbara's all creeped out. And then she asks Oracle to show a picture, surveillance, of what Dick and Connor are doing. Now, Dick and Connor are somewhere in Gotham. They don't really tell you where. Could be Amusement Mile, could be anywhere. It doesn't matter. And they find this van. And the van is packed with lead. So when Dick asks Connor, I need you to scan the van and see if there's any problems, Connor can't because the van is covered in lead. So Dick's like, all right, well, we need to go see what's going on. And Connor's like, you know this is probably a trap. And Dick is like, oh, I'm counting on it, but we're going to get a clue and find out where Scarecrow is. So they get close to the van, and Connor rips open the door, and he finds a guy with a bomb attached to him. And Connor is like, Dick, we need to go. Like, there's only seconds left before this thing goes off. And I guess Scarecrow set the trap and he wasn't planning on Superboy to be there. Or maybe he was. But Superboy arrives there 30 seconds before the bomb goes off. And Dick is like, wait, can you save this guy that has the bomb strapped to his heart? And Connor's like, I can't. Scarecrow somehow in just one day has completely changed the authorization code of this, military Batman gadget because he's smarter than I am, even though I'm the one that figured out how to disable this device. So that is a plot that doesn't make any sense. Long story short, the guy in the van blows up. Dick feels terrible. Barbara feels terrible because she's watching all this happen. But she's not concerned about the citizen that blew up. She's worried that Dick almost died. And then she gets mad at Dick. And I'm just like, what? There's a dude that literally just blew up. You would think that you guys would be mourning the citizen, but all Dick and Barbara can think about is each other. Like, Dick's like, oh my gosh, I almost died, and he has flashes of Barbara in his mind. And Barbara, all she can think about is how Dick is endangering himself, and she hates it. And Connor's just kind of like, what's our next move, boss? And Dick's like, what? Oh, we need to go... I forget where they go after that. They go somewhere. And I think they track down the guy who was working there. But... I remember. I remember now. Okay. I'm jumping ahead. Okay. So, Barbara, after the bomb incident, I believe, she's able to deduce that how Scarecrow was able to find Dick Grayson and spy on everybody is because somehow Scarecrow has hacked into Oracle. Because Scarecrow's a hacker now. Not only is Scarecrow a hacker, but he's more powerful hacker than Barbara Gordon. Make that make sense. Anyway, he's spying on Barbara and looking at her all creepy like, hello, Commissioner, you're as beautiful as ever. And Barbara's like, oh my gosh, you hacked Oracle. And he's like, haha, I will know every plot that you try to put against me because I have my eyes and ears on you, and you can't do anything to stop me. And then she calls Dick, and she's like, we need to destroy Oracle. And Dick's like, if we destroy Oracle, then how are we going to find Scarecrow? And she's like, well, think of another way. And he's like, no, Barbara, don't do it. So they get in another fight, and then Oracle's like, what would you like me to do, acting commissioner? And she's like, psh, I want you to look up ways to destroy yourself. And Oracle's like, acknowledged. And then the next scene, I think it shows that Oracle's destroyed, and Scarecrow's like, well, they're not going to find us now because they played exactly my chess game, and Oracle is destroyed. So that means the Bat Titan family cannot find me, and I'm going to win. Yay! But what he doesn't realize is that Dick doesn't give up. Meanwhile, Starfire and Blackfire show up at the son of the mafia person. And they're trying to convince him, look, there's a bunch of bad stuff that's going to happen. You need to go back home to your mommy. And he's like, no, my mom's a monster. I'm a lot safer out here in Gotham on the streets getting mugged. Why would I ever go back home? That's stupid. And they're like, well, it's the safest place for you. And it's like, no, it's not. Being in company of a killer, it's like, and Starfire's like, because her sister made her feel all guilty earlier, you know, about like the parents and stuff like that and how important family is. Starfire's like, you know what? I know you're scared, and I know your mom is a total bleep, but she's your mother. And because she's your mother, you need to go see her, no matter what. Because this could be your last time to see her. And it's like, oh, Starfire, you called that one. But I would jump ahead if I told you more. So the guy is eventually manipulated by Starfire and Blackfire to go back to his mob boss mom. And yeah. Then the scene shifts again to Beast Boy, if I'm not mistaken, exploring Jason's room and trying to think like Jason. And it's a nice little Gar scene. It shows you again that this actor wanted to play Tim Drake because he's smart like Tim Drake. So unlike Dick Grayson, he's able to find more information than Dick was able to when Dick investigated Jason's room. And he gets a name and goes on his own little quest. Like, he's not around for quite a while, I believe. I don't remember if he shows up at the end of the episode or not. But he's in Jason's room, and he finds conclusive evidence about, where the lab is that Jason has, Jason's girlfriend's name, all this stuff. And Beast Boy is like, the game is afoot, basically, and leaves. Then we go back to Oracle, and Dick is very upset that Oracle is done because they needed Crane. And she's like, well, he could see us, and I was worried about you. And Dick's like, I don't care if you're worried about me. Bruce wouldn't have destroyed Oracle. And she's like, I'm not Bruce, Dick. And he's like, well, neither am I, but how are we going to find Scarecrow now? You know? So anyway, now we get to the fun part. So, Starfire, after manipulating this poor guy, brings him back to see his mother. And his mother is so happy that her son is back home again. And you think that it's going to be a happy Kodak moment. And then she shoots him in the head. And Starfire is just like, he was your son. And she's like, oh, I know. It's so painful that my son was an FBI informant. He would have crumbled my whole operation. Thank you for bringing him home. Now I can lay him next to my husband. And Starfire's like, I ain't working with you. And she's like, well, you don't have a choice, dear. Let's shake on it. And I'm just thinking, you do not want to shake Starfire's hand because that's going to end badly for you. And I was like, yep. So just like the very first season of Titans, Starfire shakes hands with a bad guy and then turns them to ashes Although this one looked a lot cooler than it originally did. Like in the first season, the CGI looked really bad. It looked really cool in this. Starfire's skin turned orange, her eyes turned green, and her hair was on fire, like red. Because for the most part, in her human form, her hair is black. Like, normal blackish, brownish hair. And then when she became Starfire, it was all like crimson red and on fire. And I was like, yes, so cool. And then it was over. And then her Blackfire is just kind of like, I'm still jealous that you have that power. But now that we killed her, what now? And then all of a sudden, the henchman comes in with the dogs, and he's like, oh, crap. And then Starfire and Blackfire beat him up to find out, details about the mob stuff. But I thought it was really, really bad what happened. Before Starfire and Blackfire leave, though, Blackfire again opens up more about her past that nobody cares about because all this stuff isn't going to be important. I think she's an acolyte for Trigon, personally, just like she was in the comic books and stuff like that. Blackfire is bad, but she's trying to make Starfire feel bad for her, even though it was Blackfire's idea to go get the son. It was Blackfire's idea to work with this mob lady that just killed her son, and then it was Blackfire who basically allowed Starfire to kill their only lead. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. The Blackfire stuff is stupid, to be honest. It's the lamest parts of this episode. It kind of like just makes everything drag down. And then of course they go back and they talk about the 51% rule again, and it's this Tamaranian thing that's just stupid. I'm just like, dumb. So yeah. Whatever. That was that. I was like, okay, whatever. Then we have Dick Grayson and Barbara on a little adventure, and they go to an electric power plant where they find a dead guy, and Connor is not with them. I always thought Connor was with them in the scene, but my notes say it's just Dick and Barbara being sleuths, and they go to a sub-power station to try to figure out where Scarecrow is hiding out, because he's using the power company to hide where he's using all this power spikes, to create this virus or this chemical compound or whatever. And she's trying to prove to Dick that they don't need Oracle, that she's just as smart, if not smarter. And Dick needs to listen to her because Barbara's absolutely 100% correct. Like, Barbara's one of the smartest people in the DC universe. Like, hands down. So, just like in Arkham Knight, which they don't tell you had to read the comic books, but Batman figures out where Scarecrow is based on the power surges of, different parts of Gotham, and he's able to track Scarecrow down. So, similarly, Dick and Babs are able to look at this power company to find out where Scarecrow has his base of operations through the power grid, which apparently they couldn't see on the power grid online. They actually had to go to the substation itself to see what was going on. And they discover where Scarecrow is, more or less. And where he is kind of funny. Scarecrow has set up shop in all places, the Coney ice cream shop, which is weird. Because, I mean, it's a nice little Mr. Freeze reference. But more or less, if memory serves correctly, the Blackfire and Starfire have another moment back at not Titans Tower, Wayne Manor. And Starfire feels really bad about Blackfire's past, so she's been utterly manipulated and her character's changed, and she's becoming nice to her sister, even though her sister's a bad guy. But whatever. They're sisters. Never were there such devoted sisters. Basically, that was playing on in my head. If you've seen the White Christmas movie, you know where I'm going with this. And they're not fighting over a guy or anything like that, but Starfire is like, you know what? I know you killed my parents. I know you killed my boyfriend, and I know this is going to come back to bite me in the butt, and Connor is our witness, but I'm going to give you Tamaranian weapons that is going to turn you into a supervillain again, because right now, she's totally powerless. Like, Blackfire does not have abilities on her own. Blackfire has powers through the bracelets of Tamaran that basically turns into a Power Ranger suit. It's like Morphin time, Black Ranger power, basically. And she gets her powers back, essentially, and she temporarily joins the Titans, and she's so happy. She winks at Connor, and Connor's like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. You're family now. Nothing's going to ever go wrong because you can always count on family, essentially, Fast and the Furious, right? Not really. I'm too smart for this show. I know that this scene is going to come back and haunt Starfire because I believe they've already teased that another Titan is going to die this season. I don't know who it's going to be, but I hope it's not Beast Boy. That would suck. But anyway, the Titans move out and head to the ice cream factory of Mr. Freeze, where even the mob is hanging out and eating ice cream. So, long story short, Jason knows that Dick Grayson is going to come because he's better than Batman. And Crane is like, they'll never find us. You're worried too much. And as soon as Nightwing cuts the power, does all the Batman stuff like throwing shurikens around, picking thugs off with grappling hooks, Arkham style. It's a very cool scene. There should be a clip on YouTube if you want to go watch it after the stream. And it's really cool. Like Nightwing leads the Titans. They take everybody down. And Scarecrow and Jason leave because Scarecrow is freaking out. And then Starfire blows up the machine and mission over, essentially. And then back, I kid you not, when Jason and Jonathan Crane are out on the lam and fleeing, Barbara Gordon and the Titans have a pizza party at Wayne Manor. Which you would think Beast Boy would never want a pizza party because, well, how do I put this? Starfire tried to roast him making a pizza, so you think he would have post-traumatic stress from making pizza, but no. They're having a pizza party. It's all fun. And then Barbara Gordon is like, well, if you excuse me, everyone, I had fun, but I have to get home now. And she's like, you kids have fun. And she leaves. And Dick is like, I can't stop thinking about her. And Connor's like, hey, man, what's going on? And Corey's like, I'm dying for some ice cream. And they were like, you know what? We were just at Mr. Freeze's old base, and no one thought to get ice cream while we were there. And Connor's like, you know what? I'm going to show off to my future girlfriend, Blackfire. So I'm going to run really, really fast and go get the girls ice cream. And it was a sweet moment. I was like, you know what? This is what a Flash character would do. This is why I continue to call Connor Wally, because he's Wally. He has the same, minus the ADD personality, he has the same mannerisms and charm and heart as Wally West. Connor, as much as I like Connor in the 90s, Connor did not act like this. Connor was very, what's the word? He acted kind of Lex-like. He was very self-absorbed. He was very, me. He was not really so much of a team player. This Connor, he gets along with the team very well. He's very selfless. He's very kind. And that's going to come back and bite him in the butt later because Blackfire is going to use him. You watch. I'm predicting it now. It's going to end very badly. So Connor goes, gets some ice cream, and, I can easily get a couple of gallons. I can beat DoorDash, and there he goes. And Blackfire's like, oh, yeah, that's something. And Beast Boy's, save me some. I'm going to go do something. And then, for whatever reason, because Barbara can't stop thinking about Dick Grayson, she goes to his room, and she's thinking about all the memories they used to have, which here would have been the ideal time to actually show a flashback of her time as Batgirl and Robin. And here's the thing. I'm going to say this right now, okay? Even though there might be an embargo in place because of HBO Max Batgirl show, right? This is what a smart author could have done. Just like they couldn't show Donna Troy and Robin and Wonder Woman, and they just hinted that Wonder Woman was downstairs talking to Batman intimately or whatever, they could have had a scene where, remember how they didn't show Bruce Wayne in this season 3 wearing the Bat costume? He came to talk to Bruce, or he came upstairs to talk to Dick Grayson, and he was wearing all black. He had Under Armour, and you could tell that he was wearing the suit because he still had some black residue under his eyes and stuff like that. He was all beat up and things like that from facing Joker that night. They could have had a scene, a nice little flashback scene of Barbara Gordon and Dick Grayson hanging out after a crime-fighting exploit with Barbara wearing all black, like an undersuit, not showing the Batgirl costume at all. Robin in his half suit, wearing part of his armor and just kind of hanging out, eating pizza or something, talking about fighting some Batman villain without showing Batgirl's costume at all. You could hint that she was wearing the costume, and just a little nod like that to show that she was Batgirl instead of this thing that she was only a thief and she was Batgirl for a few years before Joker cut off her leg. That would have been cool to see. You know she's thinking about something, but they don't show the audience. And then Dick comes in and they had this little moment and he's like, I can't stop thinking of you. And she's like, I can't stop thinking of you either. And then they mac out. And like, I was waiting for, if this was a CW, you would have Starfire walk the corner with her ice cream and see Dick and Babs like bedtime sparring and get jealous or something like that. But as the Nightwing actor put it in the series, Starfire and Nightwing aren't a thing anymore. He says it could be a possibility in another season, but he says Dick has his Batgirl again, and it's going to be very serious, he said in the show. So, I mean, for the most part, it's playing out exactly as Brenton said, which is fine. But what I like about it is, to me, it shows true love, because even though Barbara is not whole as a person, it doesn't faze Dick Grayson at all. Like, usually when you had history with somebody, how Gal Simone wrote it, unlike the Chuck Dixon romance between Nightwing and Batgirl, or Babs, is Gal Simone kept bringing up the fact that Barbara was thinking that Dick Grayson couldn't see past her injury. Like, the reason why he was being super nice to her is because she's in a wheelchair, which is not true, because Dick Grayson was not. If you look at Chuck Dixon's characterization of Nightwing and some other people, that's not Dick's character. So Gal Simone was writing something different for Birds of Prey, and of course they broke up because Barbara was thinking things about their relationship that didn't exist. So what I like about it in this show is he treats her the same, and she doesn't have any misgivings about their relationship. Like, he loves her for who she is, regardless of her injury. And, you know, she accepts that, and so they get together officially in this episode. You know? And it was sweet. The scene lasts a little while. And then we have the ending scene of the episode, which I want to talk about. Beast Boy has tracked down where Molly is. Molly, if you don't know who that is, Molly is the girl that Jason Todd used to be dating before he went out with Rose. And it was his Gotham girlfriend. He saved her brother in the episode a couple weeks ago now. It was a couple weeks ago, actually. And Beast Boy, showing that he's the little detective he is, has tracked down the help of Molly, and he's asking Molly for information about Jason to save Jason, because he believes that Jason is not that bad a guy. And Molly doesn't really say much, but I believe she invites him in. She did point a gun at him, though, for a while. So that happened, and then the episode ends abruptly, and that leads us to whatever this week's episode is going to be, which will be happening in a couple days. Actually, now, what day is it? Is it Thursday already? No, okay, it's Thursday tomorrow. Phew. Okay, so it's Wednesday. So it gives you kind of like a recap of what's going to happen in a few days with the next episode of Titans. Like, Barbara Gordon and Dick are a thing. I want to call him Tim Drake, but he's not Tim Drake. Beast Boy has tracked down Molly, and Molly and him are going to go search for Jason. So, yeah, I mean, it was an okay episode. There were some weird parts of it. Like, the Blackfire stuff feels completely unnecessary. Why hasn't Bruce made any prosthetics? I don't think she wants. Joker amputated Batgirl. Cut off her leg. And you damaged her spine and messed with her leg. It's an R-rated show, so yeah, Bruce Wayne is still supposed to come back. Imagine if Connor dies next. I mean, I thought Connor was going to die in the show, but I thought Red Hood was going to kill him. Like, how my WB contact before he lost his job. So people ask me, what happened to your intel to Warner Brothers? Warner Brothers is doing a lot of blanket firing, they call it, and my contact, who was at Warner Brothers Pictures, is gone. He was given a pink slip along with his entire department as the Discovery merger, kicks off. a lot of people at DC Comics, Warner Brothers Pictures, Warner Brothers Animations, Warner Brothers Studios, WB Games, all getting replaced. Or, their departments are shrinking. So my contact is gone. But before he left, gave me a lot of Titans info. So I'm good for the rest of the season, pretty much. I have a gist of what's going to be happening. But how I originally thought they were going to play out Red Hood, I thought Red Hood was, since he knows all their weaknesses, I thought he was going to mortally wound Superboy by shooting him with a kryptonite bullet. But he hasn't. In fact, we know that Red Hood is only taking out Titans based on Scarecrow's orders. He's not the big bad. And I feel like that's a huge waste because Red Hood is the ultimate checkmate against the Titans because he knows all their weaknesses. He knows them on a personal level. He knows their strengths, their weaknesses. He knows how to beat them. And with Connor, he would take Connor out first with a kryptonite bullet. He's a bad guy now. He could easily get access to kryptonite and all this other stuff. But I don't see that happening. Jason is going to have a redemption arc, probably starting in the episode Tim Drake. Although Tim Drake is probably going to want to kill Jason. Or maybe he'll want to kill Jason later. I don't know. But Jason is kind of like half drugged right now, and he's Crane's prisoner. And Crane is scared shirtless by Dick Grayson right now, and he's left behind his entire operation. The entire plot with Scarecrow putting this drug on the street is over now. Like, the Titans blew up his base. They had a pizza party. Crane and Red Hood are in hiding. And we're going to find out what is going to happen with those events. Blackfire is now basically Tetra, or Terra, excuse me. And, Connor is going to... The next thing that they're going to have romance-wise, since Dick Grayson and Barbara are official now, is they're going to probably rapidly push together Connor and Blackfire. So Blackfire will have the role of Cassie, or Wonder Girl, the relationship that Superboy had. It'll be Superboy and Blackfire, and it's going to be basically like Beast Boy and Terra, because I still have a feeling that Blackfire is evil. I don't think she has a redemption arc. She's trying to get people to believe that she's a victim, but she has something else up her sleeve. Because remember, the Gotham part of the show is just supposed to be one part. The alien Tamaranian stuff is supposed to be the majority of the season, right? So that's going to come back into play. Like, Blackfire's not telling her sister something. So I have a big feeling that there's a lot of stuff that's going to transpire. Okay, my phone won't let me put the chat back on. Kind of want to see the chat so I can answer some questions and we can call it a night. Yes, I saw the Spider-Man and Wolverine thing. Of course. Yep. Luke and Amber, why are you guys forgetful? What do you mean by forgetful? What does that mean? Skin Intelligent Tim Drakes became Robin after Dick Grayson became Nightwing. He became Robin after Jason Todd died. Tim Drake wouldn't have become Robin after Dick Grayson. It's too soon. He becomes Robin because he believes, which now thwarts the entire reason for Tim Drake becoming Robin. You guys all know why Tim Drake became a thing, right? Tim Drake believed with all his heart that Batman needed a Robin. Since Batman has left Gotham essentially being a coward, Batman is now an afterthought in Gotham. So what is Tim Drake's whole reason for becoming Robin? To get revenge on the person who killed his dad and mom? That doesn't seem like a very Tim Drake thing. That feels like a Jason Todd thing. Which is why I was telling you guys before, when my contact told me that, they're basically just using Tim Drake in name only. He's essentially Jason Todd. Because, Jason Todd was a street Robin and Tim Drake is a street Robin. In this show. In all honesty, they should have just had this guy be Duke Thomas. Because Duke Thomas came from the streets, so... Tim Drake was supposed to be a rich kid with issues like Bruce Wayne. That's why they work so well. That also explained why he had access to the type of education he had and all this other stuff, but whatever. It's going to be weird. The Tim Drake stuff is going to be weird. I know, he even looks like Duke Thomas. They should have... Because Duke Thomas is being Robin in this new, a Batman animated show for preschoolers. Why couldn't they have made Duke Thomas the Robin for... the Titan show? They didn't want to make Tim Drake Asian because they said it would be an Asian stereotype, for having him be rich and well off. So instead, they made a Tim Drake as a mixed race who isn't necessarily well off. His family are small business owners. But at the same time, Tim Drake is a street kid, just like Jason Todd in this series. So, I mean, why couldn't they just make Duke Thomas the kid that had, his parents own a restaurant and whatever, and be the street urchin, essentially, and just done it that way instead of changing Tim Drake's thing. But whatever, it is what it is. So Tim Drake is going to be coming into play pretty soon. I know, it's funny that Beast Boy actor wanted to play Tim Drake, and he's acting more like Tim Drake than... I know! That's the thing! It's a stereotype. That's literally how Tim Drake is in the comics. I know, but their argument was... Okay, I can tell you this. According to my old contact, who's gone, the Tim Drake casting of a POC, the reason why they decided to go with a black person as Tim Drake is because they didn't want to fulfill an Asian stereotype, because they thought it would be wrong to have Tim Drake fulfill all the Asian things. Like, Asians are rich and wealthy and super smart. So they were like, our Tim Drake can't be white or Asian, so he's going to have to be black. And he's going to be basically Jason. So this is a street smart Jason Todd that is a good version of our bad version of Jason. So that's the only reason this guy got the job, is because they were looking to fill a POC role. And they weren't going to do Tim Drake the same way, because they wanted to be very careful of Asian stereotypes. But yet at the same time, aren't they doing poor people stereotypes? I don't really understand Hollywood when it gets to stereotypes. So it's okay to stereotype one person, one race, but it's not okay to stereotype another race. It doesn't compute to me. That's stupid. And that feels dumb. It feels really dumb to me. It's like their argument about not making Tim Drake Asian was because we don't want to offend Asians. But at the same time, you made him a small business owner, but you also had the father complaining, we don't really make that much money. So essentially, you're saying that they're poor. So you're fulfilling another stereotype that POCs are poor. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me at all. K-Wing, why do you still watch Titans? There are so many better superhero shows. Because I'm a sucker for punishment, and it's the only... DC continues to make Tim Drake that's punching bag. Yeah, I know. Because I'm a sucker for punishment and I cover DC stuff. What more do you want from me? I'm a DC Batman channel. If there's DC Batman content, I have to suffer through it so you don't have to. But mostly I did like Titans Season 3. So far, it's the Tim Drake stuff that I'm hoping I'm wrong about it, but so far it's been, step for step what my contact told me it was going to be this season. They even had a scene at the beginning where the police stopped Tim Drake on the street because he's out after dark, and they're like, I was waiting for them to be like, well, we're going to stop you because you're not white. I was just waiting for them to say that. Because, they're fulfilling, like, social stereotypes and all this other stuff. So, more or less, everything that I've learned about the show before it ever aired is exactly the way that I heard it. More or less. The only twist I didn't know was that Jason Todd killed Tim Drake's parents. Or wounded them, or crippled them. I don't know. We'll find out what happens. But Tim Drake will be showing up soon. Hello, I'm K-Wing and I suffer so you don't have to. Ah, Nostalgia Critic. Not a sucker enough for Gotham. You made a good choice. I know. I put my hand... I put my hands up and I walked away. I was like, I watched one episode of Gotham. I'm done. I'm done. I can tell you exactly how the show is going to go. And I did. I did a prediction for the first season and I was correct. Almost everything I said in my prediction was correct. And then I never made another video on it again because I said the show is garbage and it will continue to be garbage. It's only going to get worse from here, and I'm not subjecting myself to that. I'd rather watch Arrow. And I did. But Arrow got better, so... Gotham, not so much. But, I mean, the only reason I'm watching Titans, the only reason is because of Robin and Nightwing. That's it. I wanted to see Batgirl, I wanted to see Batman, and... I don't know, the show just, it took my heartstrings and it just cut them out of my chest. because the Nightwing stuff last year was mediocre. My friend who did that mobile series on YouTube, the Nightwing miniseries, Ithmahawk or whatever, Danny, did so much better characterization of Nightwing than any Hollywood studio so far. The fact that that man cannot get a budget from DC, you know what I would do? I would take Danny's production team, the people behind the amazing Nightwing miniseries with Deathstroke. I would go to Discovery and be like, look, there's an audience for this on YouTube. Give us $500,000, and we'll make a 4-episode miniseries you can throw up on HBO Max, and it would be awesome. We just need the budget. We have the talented writers. We got the actors. We got the, we have the martial arts and the stunt training. We just need the money for visual effects, and it'll be a guaranteed hit. Because look at what we did here. Look at what we made here with our Nightwing series. On a very little budget, and look at how many views we got, and look at how popular and how good the storytelling was, and how much people love this. And we've never been able to make another one because we don't have the money to do it. That's what I would do if I was Danny. Because Discovery is going to start writing checks for certain things because they want to catch up with Marvel. So these YouTube creators and stuff like that, they need to be banging on Discovery's door and, start talking to them. So Danny, if you're listening, man, get to that. You should do that. Somebody go tell Danny to do that. What are your thoughts on the crossover of The Flash coming in November? Pass. I don't care. K-Wing, do you think that Nightwing's endgame will be? I mean, originally I thought they were going to kill Nightwing in this, but I don't think so. Scarecrow is too afraid of Nightwing. Blackfire realizes that Nightwing has no physical attachment to Starfire. If Starfire and Nightwing were a couple in this, Blackfire would kill Nightwing in this, like at the end of the season. But I really have a feeling that Brenton is going to be leaving the show for his character's going to stay in Gotham, because Batman's not going to come back. And Gotham is going to need a Batman. And you can't leave Gotham to Red Hood or Tim Drake. Like, they're not scary enough. Like, when the Scarecrow's defeated the way he's going to go down, I mean, that is going to spread through Gotham like wildfire, like through the underworld. Like, people are going to fear Nightwing, or they're going to fear the Bat family or whatever. And criminals are going to start to not necessarily get in line, but they're not going to be running as free as they have been over the past, like, several months in Gotham. Because they know that there's checks and balances again. But in order for checks and balances to stay, how I would do it is I would make sure that Nightwing stayed behind. Because, I hate to say it, but the Titans show cannot grow with Nightwing in it. Like, every time, I mean, the guy has enormous stage presence. He needs his own Gotham show, like, bar none. And the chemistry that he has with Barbara and Jason and these Gotham characters is much better than the chemistry that he has with the Titans. Like, it doesn't really work as well as I thought it was going to. Like, the only character that he works really well with, maybe a few characters. Starfire, Connor, and Beast Boy. But Beast Boy most of all. Like, Beast Boy understands Dick, because I really believe that Ryan is playing the Tim Drake role. Like, it really feels like Ryan is Tim Drake. Like, the conscience for Dick Grayson, that's essentially what what Tim Drake did in the comics. Like, during the Lonely Place of Dying scenario. Like, Tim Drake was basically Jiminy Cricket for Nightwing. And Gar is basically Jiminy Cricket for Nightwing right now. He's essentially playing that same role. Like, Gar is playing Tim Drake more than the actor who's playing Tim Drake is playing Tim Drake. You feel? You get it? I mean, yeah, I am being honest. The only reason I watched Titans is because of Nightwing. If Robin was never in the show, I never would have watched it because it looked like trash. I gave it a shot because Robin, and then Nightwing, and then Red Hood, and they ruined Red Hood. Like, I don't like Red Hood. Red Hood started out so good. He was a threat. He was, a loose cannon. You didn't know what he was going to do. And then you just basically find out that he's a dog on a leash. Everything he did, he didn't orchestrate himself. He's basically like Tokar and Razor from, Shredder's perspective. Go, play, have fun. That's what Crane is doing with Red Hood. He's like, Red Hood, go, play, have fun. What does Red Hood do the first time he's out and about? He goes and he kills the guy who messed with him and Molly. The Joker goon who embarrassed him in front of his girlfriend. He kills the guy, because he got permission from Crane to go play. What's up, Zelda? What are you doing? Okay, you're climbing all over me. Also, you're really thin right now. You're kind of scaring me. You need to go to the vet. You need to make sure you eat again, little weirdo. Okay. I was excited for Red Hood, even though I thought it... Whoa, no, you can't have that. Do you think Kevin Conroy would reprise his role for the Cape Crusader? Maybe. You're probably going to get a official trailer for the Cape Crusader at DC Fandom soon, so that'll be fun. Do you think Gotham Knights will be the start of the DC shared gaming universe? Yes. Yes, I do. Making Red Hood a Scarecrow puppet is completely against the character of Red Hood. Yeah, I wanted to give people the benefit of the doubt, because I didn't want to be one of those people that was like, oh man, this is going to be the worst portrayal of Red Hood. Because I was like, they're not going to do that. Everything I've heard about Red Hood, because remember, I had a contact on the inside, and how they described Red Hood to me, this was basically, he was like a movie shark. A villain that shows up and when he's around, people die. When he killed Hank the way he did, I was like, holy crap, this is a season that has stakes. And now, everything is turned on its head. There's no stakes. Jason is a sniveling baby that's on drugs. So that scene that they showed you when he was on the phone with Hank and he was crying, that was when he was off his drugs, because he was like, actually has a conscience, like, I don't want to kill Hank. Hank is like my best friend. It's like Red Hood had two personalities. What I really thought was going to happen is Raven was going to have to come into the show, and in order to get Jason back, she'd have to go inside his mind and kill the Red Hood persona. I thought that they were going to do something clever, and they were going to give Red Hood like a split personality. Like, he was so hurt by the Titans that he created another personality. That would have been more interesting story writing than he's just basically... You know what they're doing? I just figured it out. They've combined so many stories into one for the Titans. Basically, Red Hood is Roy Harper. He's a drug addict. He's going to get out of all of his, everything that he's done. The drugs is going to be his scapegoat. The Scarecrow is going to be his scapegoat. They're going to say, everything that happened, Jason, wasn't your fault. And when you get clean, you'll have a place here in the Titans. I guarantee you they're going to say something similar to that. When you get off the Fear Be Gone and all this other stuff, Jason, the Titans will welcome you back with open arms. But until then, you have some work to do, to basically penitence, And I just totally see them pulling that card. Unless Scarecrow, just randomly shoots Jason in the head or something like that. But right now, Jason is his bargaining chip. The reason why he took Jason is because that's what he's going to use as leverage against Nightwing and the Titans. The show is just so predictable now. I don't know. They also shouldn't have called him... It was a mistake to call him Red Hood. They only did that because of the fans. They should have called him Arkham Knight. What they should have done is they should have called him Arkham Knight, and then at the end of the series, as a way of redemption for all the things he did, then you make him Red Hood. He should have started as Crane's Arkham Knight, and then transitioned into Red Hood, because he tarnished the name of Robin, because he killed people, he did bad stuff, but he's going to redeem himself as a member of the family as Red Hood. His own superhero, his own rules, but not the Arkham Knight. That would have been better. But nope. Nope. This is why I am better at a writer's job at DC Comics than a DC Comics writer is. I get the characters. I know how to twist them. I know how to use them in ways that they do not. Also in a way that does fan service. People love Arkham Knight. Would they have loved to see the first ever live-action Arkham Knight in an R-rated TV series? Heck yes! Would they want to see Arkham Knight become Red Hood at the end? Yes! No, they're not going to give Nightwing his own show. He would probably be a guest character on a Red Hood show or something like that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Injustice movie? It looks interesting. Yeah, I'm too smart for my own good. K-Wing, are you prepared for all the Batman content next year? Yes. Yes, I am. I am indeed. Let's face it, gang, I'm a genius. I am too good for YouTube. And DC. Are you excited for The Batman? I'm interested because supposedly he doesn't kill people in it. What do you want, Zelda? You can't have my plate. You can't have my plate. Thoughts on Penguin getting a spin-off from Pattinson's film? Interesting. Finally, us Batman fans have had a drought of movies for the last 9 years. Now we reunite. Has it really been 9 years since, It's been 9 years since The Dark Knight Rises? Well, I mean, as a solo Batman film, we had Batman in BVS. That was basically a Batman film with Superman as a guest character. And that was in 2015, right? Or was it 2016? It was 2015, and then Justice League was 2017, right? At least from the trailer, the Injustice movie has the worst Joker voice for all time. The Joker actor is awful. The Injustice Joker is great, so why did they have to recast him? Because it's a popular actor who's playing the Joker. Don't you know how these Hollywood things go? They're banking on these Hollywood stars, fans, seeing the movie. So it's some famous guy playing the Joker. You disagree? Batman v Superman was more about Superman than Batman? I don't know. I don't know. Batman was in it quite a bit. It felt more like a Batman story. Batman was the villain of that story, but Superman didn't have as many scenes as Batman. Who was my least favorite Bane actor? The guy who played Bane in Batman and Robin. Even though he's no longer with us. Any other questions, guys? Because I have a Batman video I got to work on. There's a Keaton comic book that came out. I need to make my next Keaton thing. I need to write my script and probably record the voiceover or something. Actually, I'm probably just going to write my script tonight. My voice is kind of parched. So I'm going to stop talking after my podcast until my stream tomorrow at 4 o'clock is going to be very rough on me because that is the finale of Ace Attorney, pretty sure. Joker dies in 10 minutes, so it doesn't matter if he has a sucky voice, yeah. Do you think Scarecrow will get a costume in the show? No. He's going to run around as druggy guy with a beard. You saw his mask. Batman has his mask. Although why he doesn't have any extra masks, I don't know. It's just basically a sack over his head. I prefer the Scarecrow that looks like, you know, an actual Scarecrow, not the Bale version of Scarecrow. Zelda, what is it, honey? I'm gonna feed you after my podcast. Stop licking my plate. I'm gonna have hot dogs on that. My gosh. Do you think Reeves' universe will create a Batman cinematic universe origin? I don't know. You think we'll see an Arkham Origins... What? Hang on. Ah! Dealing with a cat here. What's up, guys? At least Gotham made Scarecrow look like Scarecrow. Yep, that's true. What other games do you think they'll make in the Arkham universe after Suicide Squad? No idea. They kind of wasted Christian Bale. Scarecrow, to be honest. Yep, I have a cat walking all over me. Do you think Tim Drake will get his own spin-off show? No, Red Hood will get a spin-off show. Nightwing and Tim Drake will not get a spin-off. I always liked Arkham Knight. Look for Scarecrow. Yep. What else you got? You think we'll see Arkham Origins remaster for consoles? No. Why did Deadshot change races in the Arkhamverse? There's a theory going on. I can tell you. They're saying that Floyd Lawton in Arkham City and Arkham Knight and Arkham Origins is not the real Deadshot, and that this guy is the real Deadshot, and he killed the fake Deadshot. So the Deadshot running around Gotham for several years was a fake, apparently. And he never fought Batman. He was off somewhere else. The fake was the one who fought Batman. The real one, that's the reason why Batman's alive, is because he fought the fake one. Because they don't want to explain why they race swapped. You know the reason why they race swapped. Because of Will Smith. And just like in the future, they're going to make Deadshot black. Because of Will Smith. So they're going to tell people, like, offhand, that the Deadshot... This is intel from my former contact. That, you know, the reason why they're of different skin colors is because one was an imposter and one was the real deal. The one in the real deal is the one in the Suicide Squad game, and the one who was the fake one fighting Batman was the other guy who stole his identity and wasn't quite as good as a sharpshooter as the other one. That's why Batman was alive, because if the real Floyd fought Batman, Batman would have died. That's what they're saying. Okay, Deadshot wasn't in Arkham Knight, sorry. Origins, Arkham City. Wouldn't Batman have figured out that Deadshot was a fake? You would think so. You would think so. But this is just something Rocksteady had to do because they were like, wait a second, I guess when they said that, they wouldn't have had to do that if they said it wasn't connected to Arkham, but they want it connected to their universe because it's their baby. They made it, right? It's their thing, so they have to explain somehow. And they don't want to say, oh, we just race swapped. They're like, no. It's the Deadshot you know isn't the real Deadshot. That's why. And you know what? I have to think that is one of the most clever ways of, basically distancing yourself from the race swap thing. It's still race swapping, but it's different because they're saying that there were two Deadshots. One was fake and one was real. One was the real McCoy, and the other one was just a guy who was using the name and the fame to make money as a hired assassin. Because they're both assassins. It's just, the real deal is 100% better. And, Deadshot caught up with the other guy and killed him. Because he didn't appreciate the dude stealing his mojo or something. DC is really weird sometimes. Yep. Oh, I agree. It would have been better if they said that Deadshot trained this Deadshot. Yeah, well. I mean, DC Comics just race swaps all the time. But in their defense, the only reason they did it is because they were told to do it. Because Rocksteady was told to change Deadshot's race. Because Will Smith was Deadshot in the Suicide Squad. They're trying to do a marketing thing. Because Will Smith isn't done as Deadshot. I hope you guys know that. He had contractual obligations and he couldn't be in the Suicide Squad 2 because he was doing other stuff. Like, he'll be back. Even James Gunn tried to get Will Smith to come and do the role, but, he didn't have any openings. And it's true, Will Smith was filming 2 movies at the time that Suicide Squad was filming. There was no way that Will Smith could get time off to come and do that movie. And they didn't kill off his character, unlike, some of the other characters in the Suicide Squad. So it leaves the door open for Will Smith to return as Deadshot. And he loves the role as Deadshot. So I say let him play Deadshot again, too. I didn't have any problem with him as Deadshot. But it's all marketing. I told you guys this 100 times. DC Comics and Warner Brothers is what? A creature of habit when it comes to marketing. They never change. They never change, and they never will. course, I do have bad news for you guys, though. While J.K. Simmons is returning to the role of Commissioner Gordon, what's her name? Leslie Grant, I believe, the actress who's playing POC Batgirl. She said in an interview the other day, it was before 9/11, she was talking to Entertainment Weekly, and she said, and I quote, they asked her, well, if Commissioner Gordon from BVS is coming back and Justice League, does that mean we'll see Ben Affleck as Batman? And she's like, without missing a beat, she says, Batman will not be in this movie because he's gone. She says, this movie's all about the girls. The girls are coming to help me. And she really wants Margot Robbie in her movie. She really wants Margot Robbie in the movie. So Harley Quinn is probably going to show up in Batgirl's movie. Most likely. Most likely. So Batman will not be, any Batman will not be in the Batgirl movie. If the Batgirl actress has her way. Because she said, without missing a beat, right in the middle of the interview, she cut the person off and she said, Batman's not in this. He's not around. So they're doing the same thing they did with the Birds of Prey thing. Batman is missing. Well, where is Batman? Nobody knows. He's just gone. DCU. Seems like it, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, this girl is a super feminist. The redhead actress that was trying out for the role was a normal woman. She's not militant feminist. This lady who did that dance movie is super, like, POC Brie Larson, basically. So, our Batgirl movie is going to be very interesting. Her characterization of Barbara Gordon that she had in this interview was way off. Way off. That's not Babs. Babs is nothing like she mentioned at all. Like, basically, it's Barbara Gordon in name only. The only good thing about this movie is that J.K. is coming back to be Commissioner Gordon. Because she wants him as Commissioner Gordon, and the person who's writing the movie wants him as Commissioner Gordon, and DC Comics wants him as Commissioner Gordon. So it'll take place in the Gotham that was in BVS, it just won't have Ben Affleck. Which is stupid because this is supposed to be a movie of Batgirl getting her feet wet, and Batman plays a huge role in her origin. If you go back and you look at Batgirl Year One, both her, Robin, and Batman were very big parts of her origin, because she is literally using his symbol. So she gets the idea of being Batgirl herself in this movie? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I almost wish that Margot Robbie would have let Cassandra be Batgirl first, you know, in this shared universe, but it is what it is. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be... I was trying to keep an open mind that... But after this interview, I was just like, oh my gosh, it is the D, she, you, just like people are saying. And I was like, you know what? I was wrong. I was all excited, too, when they were talking about, like... because Keaton was attached to the Batgirl picture. He's not anymore. She doesn't want Batman in it. And she's the star, even though she came from a flopped movie. She's calling all the shots. Her movie bombed, but yet she gets to play Batgirl. Make it make sense. The other lady, the redhead, who was not super feminist, Brie Larson type, her movie was successful. Like, it was a hit. She's an up-and-coming actress. She's a star. But because she doesn't fit the requirements that DC and Warner Brothers are looking for, she didn't get the part. They gave it to this very loud actress. Oh well. It is what it is. Hopefully it won't suck, right? WB doesn't make the best decisions. And now you know it's too late to recast. They're going to do stuff in DC fandom. Nope. There's no recasting. It's done. It's done. They got a script. They got everything ready. They're going to start filming spring of next year. Who's playing Batgirl? The lady from that West Side Story remake thing, musical. I don't remember the name of it. Was that New York City Musical? They will make Babs like women in the movie. I don't know. I mean, it's an HBO Max movie, so I mean, you know, it's not like it's going to be in theaters, but I mean, it's still going to be canon to whatever happens after Flashpoint. So, Well, I told you guys this before, though. Remember what I said? Warner Brothers and DC Comics are going to do whatever the heck they want until May of 2022. Nobody can stop them. Every bad idea, everything that they've wanted to do, they're going to push the envelope, and they're going to keep pushing until Discovery basically puts them in timeout. I mean, they're already having people fired left and right as things are being reshuffled. I mean, my contact lost his job. His entire department is gone. That department had 15 people employed in it. There's various companies, like Traveler's Tales has had tons of their departments closed. People who did the Lego Batman games, or all that stuff. The people who do the DC Universe not mobile game, sorry, DC Universe PC game, or whatever you want to call it, online game, they've had their department shrunk. Just in the past, I think it's been 4 weeks. My last contact at Traveler's Tales told me he's leaving too. I was like, you're like one of the visionaries behind the Lego Batman games. You can't be going. He's like, oh, don't worry. They have things in the pipeline eventually. I was like, soon, right? And he was like, I don't know. I'm out of here. He says, it was great working with you, though, Luke. Loved the Batman content. I'll let you know when I'm at my next place, but I'm taking 6 months until I get my next job. I'm like, you don't have another job, do you? The dude's like, oh, I'm on vacation. Every time somebody in the industry tells me on vacation, that means they left their current job when they don't have a follow-up. They're hoping that they get a bite, with their resume. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm very bummed. I don't know what's going on with the Lego Batman stuff outside of... I'm completely in the dark when it comes to WB Games Montreal because they blacklisted me after Blackgate. Oh, did they not like my Blackgate coverage? Woo! All true, though. My gosh. It was a terrible game! So was that stupid mobile game they made. I will shout it from the rooftops, that game sucked! I don't think it's fair I got blacklisted, though. So people are like, would you ever get an early copy of Gotham Knights? No. Nope. Never happened. Nope, I will not be one of those early creators. Guarantee it. You are such a pretty kitty. What's going on? Don't lick my face. That's weird. I never finished Blackgate. I did, unfortunately. I have so much regrets. But I was making a walkthrough for you guys, so... yeah. So in the DCEU, Superman is a mass murderer, Batman is a murderer, Wonder Woman is a murderer, and plays around without consent. Great. Joe Potato. I mean, in her defense, she thought it was Steve. It was her love come back to life through some weird means. Yeah. Luke. Yo, DC Luke working with WB is going downhill. That'll make losing a bunch of fans. No, it won't, because they're trying to appeal to the Twitter fans. No, do not make me play Blackgate again. I do not want to. I will yeet myself out this window. I want to watch you play Blackgate. No. This is DC, though. We get dark. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I'm kind of upset, guys. All the contacts that I've made over the years. I mean, if you guys get an early copy of WB Games Montreal Gotham Knights and you want to really tick off WB Games Montreal, you can give it to me. They would not like that. That'd be funny. Did I read Batman Urban Legends 7? Yep. Not even for $500. I would do it for $500. I would use the money to wipe my tears. I would need the money for therapy. Because that game is so broken. You played Dark Tomorrow and Superman 64. Blackgate isn't that bad. Yes, it is, Garrett. It's bad for me. It's kryptonite. Is it just me, or does Gotham in Arkham Knight look meh? I just don't like the architecture that much. I mean, I love using Arkham Knight as my background for my podcast. It's very peaceful to me. I like it. I can hear the rain and, the sirens. It reminds me when I lived in Albany. Oh, that was just a dig to New York, wasn't it? Oops. Not that hearing sirens and rain and stuff is peaceful. It's just very ambient, you know. I'm a city boy, so I don't like living in rural areas. I'm in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. I miss Boston. I miss city life, you know. Also, my YouTube channels excel in city because here's a little trick. Did you know that it's location, location, location? There's a reason why YouTubers actually live in big cities. It's because of the algorithm. The algorithm is nicer to you if you live in like Chicago, New York City, Boston, LA. If you're a YouTuber that lives in the boonies of Pennsylvania, you're not going to get a lot of views. The reason why James Ralph does so well is Jamesy is right near Philadelphia. He's about, well, I probably shouldn't say where he lives. He's not too far away from me, but I'm more in the boonies. James is a good drive from me, but I know where he lives. That sounded creepy, but I worked for the same network. Long Island, huh? That's cool, Sammy. I worked for the same network he did. I got to know Mike Matei really well. Mike said I had a cool Jeep. I was like, Mike's an okay guy in my book. He likes Jeeps. Were you born and raised in the boondocks? No. I was born and raised near New York City. Hence why I'm a jerk. Look at me fulfilling stereotypes. Oh my gosh. I agree with you on that regard. The rain is very soothing and the gliding around is fun. Yeah, the gliding is fun, isn't it? I like the gliding in Arkham Knight. Who would be a threat for Batgirl and Tim in Gotham Knights? I don't know. They rewrote stuff. I don't know. I am very excited about the Batman audio thing. I'm looking forward to that. I love the fact that the animated series was kind of like a radio program. I'm excited. Nathaniel didn't say anything wrong. He's not wrong what he said. Gotham, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and Batwoman. DC shows suck, and I'll stick with Marvel Disney Plus shows. For right now, Nathaniel is correct. So, I'm just saying. He didn't need to be censored. He speaks the truth. You cannot cut a man's tongue off from preventing him from speaking, because without him being able to speak, he speaks volumes. I'm just saying. Insomniac is making Marvel Gaming Universe with Wolverine since Avengers flopped. I know the Avengers game did terrible. Nobody believes me, though. Nobody believes me. I'd be excited if HBO was available in Australia. HBO Max is coming all over the world, like in the next year. They're just really slow at pushing it out. It's supposed to be in Australia soon. And it's supposed to be in other, like Sweden and other parts very soon. I did not like WandaVision, I agree. I live Batman set in the 40s, 50s. I have high hopes for the Cape Crusader. Yeah, I have high hopes for the Cape Crusader. I will do reviews of the audio Batman thing if you want. If people don't mind spoilers. HBO Max was supposed to be rolling out all over this fall, unless they changed their plan. What Avengers game? The Avengers game. Marvel Avengers did not do well. Do you still plan on doing podcasts on the Nightwing books? If I have time, Tyler. I've been very busy on my other channel. It's not doing well. K-Wing, have you watched any of the What Ifs? No, I haven't had time. I didn't have to remove your comments, intelligence. I just wanted to. You're entitled to your opinion. I get it, Garrett. Yes, do it. The accent from the Arkham Knight lore video. The accent? What accent? I had an accent in the Arkham lore. I thought I was just speaking normally. Well, Batgirl actress would get her wish of all the girl thing if Kathy Yan didn't ruin the Birds of Prey by shoving Harley in there. No, Joe, it's going to be an all-girls movie. I mean, it coincides with a lot of stuff that we're hearing about the Batgirl script, the final script. Some people are happy, some people don't care. I don't know. Here's the thing, though. If you say anything bad about the Batgirl movie, then you're racist. Because it's kind of like, I hate to say this, But the reason why a lot of these studios like DC, they bring in people of color is so it can be a shield from, criticism. Because basically what these companies do now is if you say something bad about a movie and it happens to star a POC, then you are in fact a racist. Because would you have criticized the movie if a white person was, under the cowl? And it's like, yes, I would have. If the movie sucked, I would say the movie sucked. But that's their shield that they use on social media. And then they have SJWs and NPCs like basically being their white knights going after people for criticizing the movie if that movie is, a person of color. Also, they'll say you're sexist too because she's a woman. So you have 2 strikes against you. You can't criticize the movie. There was something really wrong with you if you do that. You're an ist and you're a phobe and you're blah, 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 blah. What's good about my track record, if something sucks, I make fun of it. I made fun of Gotham. That was mostly a white cast. I made fun of everything. Every Batman thing that you can think of that has sucked, I have drilled to death. I've been consistent. Doesn't matter who's under the mask. If it sucks, it sucks. And I'm going to tell you. Point blank, shotgun style. That's how I roll. I'm old-fashioned. Games, movies, video games. K-Wing hates everything equally. That's right! The accent was from your first appearance Batman lore video? You talking about that 40s voice? You're talking like this? I would need to do a lore like Ronald Reagan. Batman walked the streets that night, see? The rain was pouring around him. You could hear the puddles, loud as thunder, as he walked down the alleyway. Some broad had just come to his office the night before. No, I don't want to do that. That's stupid. Yeah. I love you, K-Wing. Hearts. Did I see Shanghai? No, I'd have to go to the theater. More K-Wing Reagan, no. Are you excited about the Wolverine game? Yes, but we only got a teaser, man. That's not enough for me to get hyped about. K-Wing's Ronald Reagan confirmed? No. That would make... I'm not a good actor. I can't act to save my life. Did you hear they might be doing an all-female Justice League with Batgirl, Supergirl, etc.? Yeah, I heard that rumor. DCU. The problem is that you're a white man, and according to these crazy people, all white men are extremely racist and sexist. Well, I'm Portuguese, so I mean... I'm an immigrant. So... whatever. I don't count, though. My family came here during the Great Depression, but it doesn't matter. Oh, doesn't matter. We fled our country. Blah, 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 blah. I like K-Wing's sense of humor, especially when it comes to Batman stuff. My sense of humor is dated. It's from the 40s. Delete Twitter and Reddit. Oh, that would be such a better world. Except I have a subreddit now. Don't delete Reddit. I have 150 members. Don't delete my Reddit. Go help my Reddit. I can see Wolverine being released October 2022 or 2023. That'd be awesome. I'm going to play a Wolverine game this year. K-Wing, the loopholes. Stop it. Will you get... I can't. You licked my hamburger plate. Now I can't have hot dogs. And I got to wash the dishes. Stupid cat. Watch that language, Missy. But wasn't there a subreddit? Yeah, there was. Well, no, it wasn't a subreddit. It was a Legion of Doom, like, place. I have my own subreddit. Fans made it for me. Meh. Meow. That was really cute, wasn't it? Yeah. She's crawling all over me, guys. I don't know what she wants. She wants my hamburger plate, but I don't want to give it to her. Nah! It had onions in it, you stupid cat. Do you know what onions do to cats? Do you? I don't think she cares. No. To this day and age, the Nightwing series is still some of the best stuff I've ever seen on a fan-made site. I know, right? Skin Intelligence is right. Everybody get on Danny's case and tell him to go talk to Discovery. I'm serious. Like, talented people should go and bang on Discovery's door because they're going to start throwing money at people because they need to catch up to Marvel. They know that they, have all these great licenses. They've even said it. They said it when they bought the company. People need to go and, K-Wing and Zelda, all criminals, shake in their boots when they hear that meow. She's purring right now. How is that scary? Can you hear her purring? Can you hear Zelda purring at all or no? Zelda wants chicken. Zelda wants liver. K-Wing, please deliver. Zelda doesn't really eat the chicken. Give her pats. I am petting her. I want Danny to make a Nightwing show. I know, right? Danny's actually... I don't know what he's doing these days. He still has his production team, but he hasn't made he wanted to make a Nightwing sequel years ago. DC has more potential than Marvel, but they always waste it. They did always waste it. That's where Discovery comes in. I really believe that Discovery is going to be the best thing that happened to DC in the past, 30 years. Honestly. I have a good feeling about it. You don't hear any purring? She ran away. Remember the fan-made Grayson movie that's on YouTube? The guy took it to the DC and they laughed at him. That would be way better than BVS. The Grayson fan film? You mean the one where Batman died and Robin was Robin took over? The fan film from 2004? Please don't jinx the Discovery thing. Fine. I wish I could find my cat. She's probably downstairs laying on her box. Cats love boxes. The only hope I have for the DCU is Static Shock, and even then, Batman would have been incredible. Is the Batgirl movie out? No. They're working on it. Yeah, but honestly, give Danny some budget, and it would be better than Daredevil, to be honest. Yeah, I'd agree so. Danny understands the character of Nightwing. He can make something amazing. I can't make something amazing. I'm not as talented as Danny. I could write something, sure. But, I mean, he gets the characterization. He can do the stunts. He's a martial artist. He can... he's got the filmography. The guy's a genius. He just... That's why I wish... If I was a billionaire, I would throw a bunch of money at Danny and a lot of these fan creators that do, Batman animations. And the first thing I would do, heck yes, I would get in touch with those guys in Sweden or whoever made that 89 Batman demo. And I would be like, Keaton is coming to the Flash in 2022. Can you get this game up, in 2022? How much money and a team do you need to get this done in 9 months so I can get this game on the market? What do you need from me? How do we make this happen? I think the people want this. That's what I would do. If I was at Discovery or Warner Brothers, that would be my job. I would go and I would scout talent, and I would get them to sign their life away. I would get them to sign up for the project and get the thing done and to my bosses and get the thing made for fans. Scratch that one part from the record. That was a mistake. K-Wing, your BVS and Justice League reviews didn't age well. Yeah, I know. I only saw them once, though, Nathaniel. I know. I was so excited to see the Justice League on screen that... did I ever do a review of the Snyder Cut? Because I think my Snyder Cut review is really good. I'd watch Flash Season 7 for a year before I'd watch Suicide Squad Birds of Prey. That'd be amazing. That would be the best Batman game ever. Yeah, it would. Sign their life away. Don't trust Luke if he asked you to sign something. I said scratch that from the record. I'm just tired. You can trust me, guys. I'm not evil. My Snyder Cut review was good. Yay! Have you considered Danny to Chris McKay? I have told Danny to talk to Chris McKay. And I've DM'd Chris McKay and said he should talk to Danny. I've done my part. I don't know if the two have ever met. They're both in California. Chris McKay appreciated what I said about his Nightwing project, though. So that made me happy. I was like, yay. I've noticed that celebrities that don't have blue check marks, they're nicer. So once Chris McKay gets a blue check mark, I don't want to talk to him anymore because he'll change. He will turn and become like the rest. Hey, Seth. But right now, he's cool. Chris McKay is really cool. I could probably get an interview if I wanted. If Luke asks me to work somewhere, I'm signing immediately. Who needs to read the fine print? Exactly! But YouTube, if mind boggles me on how some random fan made a better series than a bunch of professional directors could. I know, right? That's what's funny about it. But yeah, no, seriously, I'd get a Nightwing series on HBO Max, with Danny at the helm. Whether or not Danny was starring in it or not, probably not. Probably get some actual Hollywood young up-and-comer. No, you know what? I know exactly what I'd do. I'd get Danny and his production team with a high budget, and then I would bang on Yoshi's door and I'd be like, yo, Yoshi, you're Nightwing now. Because the internet has spoken, and, yeah, you're Nightwing, and we're going to get a redhead for Babs, because Oracle's going to be in your show, and we're doing the Chuck Dixon run. And then Yoshi would be like, I love the Chuck Dixon run. It'd be like, yep, 22 episodes, Chuck Dixon run, the best of. We're going to adapt those storylines, and Deathstroke is going to be your big bad, along with what happens to Bloodhaven. So you're out of Gotham, and, yep. And also, yeah, we'll need to do something about the stunt thing, because we don't want to put you through what Power Rangers was, because, you know, if you catch fire, I mean, that wouldn't be good for us, because then we lose our Nightwing. So, you know, probably have to work with SAG or something like that. So, yeah. Yoshi would be an amazing Nightwing. Thank you. Luke deserves a private screening of the Nightwing movie. What if it sucks, though, and Chris McKay turns to me, well, you said so many good things about my Nightwing movie. What did you think of it? And I'm just sitting here petrified like, this was the worst thing I've ever seen. Well, it's better than Batwoman. Yeah, Blockbuster in the show, yeah. Go, Stunt Rangers. Pink Ranger was set on fire. That's why she left the show. And she was also electrocuted. 'Cause Saban was a jerk. The Rangers, they all got hurt. The Yellow Ranger Trini broke her leg during filming, and she had to not be in the show much. That's why she was sitting down. Oh my gosh. It's true. Trini broke her leg at the end of in the middle, or either the middle or the end of no, it was the second season. She broke her leg, and like most of her scenes, she was sitting down because she broke her leg on set. And they did the Jackie Chan thing. They painted one of her shoes. They painted her cast the color of her shoe. If you said good things about Justice League, you were in awe of seeing JL. You do the same with the Nightwing movie, probably the first time. Still mad that Conroy isn't about Conroy and Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah. R.I.P. Twee. All right, so we got off topic again. Any remainder stuff about the Titan reviews? You guys satisfied with what I said? Did you like my review? All that fun stuff. What's the consensus of the audience? What did you think of my reviews tonight? Because we could talk all night. Do you think Nightwing movie will be announced and is actually happening at Fandom? Because, nope, not this year. I don't think they're going to announce it until next year. K-Wing, in my opinion, Mask of the Phantasm is overrated. No! That is unforgivable. Unforgivable! Great review. Yay. Alright, cool. Why is the Titan so edgy? Because it's rated R. Yes, we could fit it as good. Awesome as always. Thank you. Appreciate it. Great review. I'm good. I honestly don't really care about Titans. Just so up to hear you talk about stuff. That's cool. Are there any secret fandom movies and shows to be announced? Not that I know of, no. Did you just disrespect the goat? He did! Angry mob! Get him! Run, Nathaniel, run! He's entitled to his opinion, however wrong it is! Heresy! Confirmed K-Wing likes Green Lantern. How did you guys know I like the Green Lantern movie? I mean, No, Green Lantern is horrible trash. K-Wing is mad. No, I'm not mad. Nathaniel got timed out by Garrett. You deserve that. All in good fun, Nathaniel. Do you think Tim would become Robin in the end? Probably. I guess we're going to find out what Timmy Boy's going to be like. Alrighty, gang. I'm spent. I had fun. I got to make pictures of the Keaton thing, because the Keaton comic's out. I'm going to read it. I'm going to write the script. I'm going to feed this monkey. Yeah? Should I feed you? Should I feed you again? You're not going to say... You can't have my hamburger plate. It's mine. I want to make hot dogs. Alright. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. I had fun. You guys are amazing, as always. And we'll be back to talk about the Titans episode... What episode are we on now? 8? Is it 8 this Thursday? Imagine if the 89 crossed over with the 90s Turtles. Ooh, that would be interesting. Now someone disrespected Kevin Conroy, not on my watch. Alright. Later, guys. Remember, Sonic Generations continues tomorrow. Go support my Power Rangers video. Because there are new Power Rangers coming to battle for the grid. So, yeah. And I have a lot of fun streams happening. I'll be doing Lego Batman and Batman Arkham City on my other channel. And we'll be playing through an Arkham game this fall again. I don't know which one yet. It will not be Blackgate because my price is too steep. You can't afford it. Because I'll need that money for therapy. Have a wonderful night, people. Thanks so much for listening to the Titans review. And I will see you in a few days on this channel. I'm going to go feed the cat again. Bye-bye.